Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And how's it going, guys? I feel, I said this earlier, I feel very lumberjacky. I need to trim this up. This is getting embarrassing. Whew. Need a few minutes to get my grooming on. All right. So, wow. Today was one hell of a big show. I thought today would be a big show. I was saying on last night, Sunday, I was saying, I think we might get to 15,000 viewers tomorrow. Lo and behold, we were the number 2 live stream on YouTube today. The only thing bigger was PBS NewsHour, and it was only bigger by like 100 viewers or something like that. No. 3,000 viewers. My bad. I don't want to misrepresent. They were 30,000. We got real close to 27,000, but according to Playboard, we didn't actually break it. Although I thought I saw over 27,000 at one point. But that's my memory. So who knows? Anyway, tomorrow will be another big day of trial. We'll see. Whoa, what am I doing? That was the wrong way. I got the headphone bump here. The headphone bump it drives me crazy. It makes me feel like a chick who's been wearing too many ponytails. I should have saved this shirt for when Ty Beard was on next. Oh wait, he was on today, but just me and him. That's what I'm talking about. All right. A lot has happened today in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. We're going to be talking about that, kind of recapping the day in case people missed it. I know a lot of people have like jobs during the day and they can't always be there, to constantly watch what I'm doing, which I do feel is a little bit, that's a little bit discourteous of people to not constantly pay attention to everything I'm doing. Really those people should reconsider their priorities and think about me and how that action affects me. I think that's something we need to work on. Baby, we've got, we are going to recap the show. I've got a bunch of super chats to get to. When there's that many people, I mean, there's just no way to get to them all. But I have been a ardent committer to the best of my ability to always address as many super chats as possible. I know in the past there have been a few that have gotten missed due to weird bugs and stuff like that. I always try to catch up on them, and I'll say it again on this stream, the same as I said yesterday during the catch up. The stream is not actually geared to have more super chats come in. I of course appreciate them, but mainly I'm focused on getting the old ones from earlier in the day. I will still apply the same rules, so any $20 super chats I will try to address. Why is this light off? What's wrong with you? Oh well, too bad. I will try to address as soon as possible. I believe, get all of the $20 plus super chats from the early show already. So those I will be addressing just in order that they came in. Otherwise, one thing I will also do is talk a little bit about the insane fallout that's been going on from the Twitter clip that Viva Viva stole from me. He stole my content and put it up on Twitter without my permission. He wasn't even on the stream. That thieving Canadian stole everything and posted it and brought 2.4 million and counting eyes to the stream. It's amazing. Amazing how many people have seen that clip. And I nothing but good thoughts on that, except except I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I've only really seen the one. I know there's a bunch of people seething about me being involved in this kind of coverage and people seeing it, right? There's some people out there. I frankly, I almost called, uh, you know, um, Life Alert watches for several Twitter attorneys when things started to kind of blow up. I was like, oh God, we got to get wellness checks on some of these people. We gotta really make sure. I'm worried for the safety of some of these people. Their teeth might be breaking. I was concerned. I'm not actually gonna focus on those. I haven't gone to look if they're actually out there like saying anything. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But there is a thread someone sent me, and I wanted to just laugh at it for just a minute. It's the only time I'm gonna do this part on Twitter right now. I uh, or as Twitter as the show. Okay. I really want to do this for just a second, and then I'm not going to spend any more time on Twitter. So we're going to do this part right now, and the rest of the show is going to be towards the main themes. But this made me just smile. Um, Let me, before I go out and pull this very short Twitter thread. It's not a long Twitter thread. Before I go out and pull this up, I want to say something about the Twitter user, the Twitter user that we're going to look at. Um, uh, I like this Twitter account. I actually think I used to follow it on my original Twitter account before that got ixnayed up by the hombres or whatever. And I think this person has interesting insights. I kind of forgot about it, and I haven't seen it in a long time because, well, when you have to start over, things happen. You lose track of some people. You lose track of some people. So I actually kind of like this person, but the salt coming out of this Twitter thread is delicious. It's like the perfect pink Himalayan salt that you want to just sit and just or like fleur de sel, right? I can eat fleur de sel. I can just crunch on it like a snack. I'm probably broken. But so I had to bring it up. And I hold no malice against this person, but I want you guys to judge what you think. I mean, you guys have seen what's going on. You've seen probably the clip. You know what's been going on in the trial if you've been following along, if you've been able to keep up. I know it's a lot of footage. And if I weren't streaming it, I would have no way to keep up with it. But you guys can make up your own opinions on this. I find this to be hilarious. So that's me though. Also, Canadian Viva gets called out. So that makes it doubly hilarious. So here we go. This is from LB Beyond Rees Doubt on Twitter. And this is in no way do I want anyone to go comment or anything on this person. Is not what this is about at all. Is not, I never ever am ever calling for anybody to do anything like that. I want to be very, very clear. This is just for my own chuckle amusement on the show here, right? Again, I actually like this person and I respect their opinions. This one is just, it's such a weird thread. So here we go. Tell me you've never tried a criminal case and don't understand criminal law without telling me FFS, you're Canadian, to Viva. And this is Viva's clip. Rittenhouse trial should be over immediately, right? And if we need just a very brief refresher, let's hit it. I'll put my headphones on. Did I share the audio? Hold on just a second. Here we go. Now I did, just in case I hadn't before. So here's the clip.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
Oh, shit. That's it.
That's it.
Directed verdict. Directed verdict on all the murder charges. Kyle knows.
Yeah.
Directed verdict on the murder charges.
He just exhaled. Kyle just, he looks like he's going to cry.
How do you not acquit after that?
Look at Bigger. Look at Big Boy.
Oh, Big Boy.
Oh! It wasn't.
Okay. So that's the clip. Simple clip. I mean, of course, it's in the context of now 60 hours of court or something like 50 to 60 hours of court that has gone on. Okay. That's important because we're not talking about this in isolation. We're not talking about this moment being the sole reason for everything. This is just the missing piece. They've already got Rosenbaum. They've already got Huber. They got it from Gage. And now Gage just testified that Kyle Rittenhouse's shooting was justified. I mean, he just did. He didn't shoot at you until you advanced on him, drew your gun, and pointed it at him, correct? Yeah. Well, I mean, there we go. I don't know how you sit and listen to that and go anything else. So here we go. So this is a fun thing that people do. My DMs are filled with actual practicing criminal defense attorneys laughing at these clowns. And then she says, crying with laughter, charlatans. Now I don't know who she's talking about as a charlatan here because she's actually citing Will Chamberlain. And, Will says, I've never seen anything like the cross-examination of Gage Grosskreutz. His testimony has completely supported Rittenhouse's claims of self-defense. That's actually correct. The only person Grosskreutz has incriminated is himself. And then this person says, veteran criminal defense attorney speaks. They don't like Will Chamberlain, right? And Will is not, as far as I know, a criminal defense attorney. But that being said, I don't know that he's wrong. So then here's some interesting things that follow. Where can I find reasonable coverage of the case? I don't know. The mainstream media is bad, she says. All it seems to be popular on Twitter are these right-wing hacks that don't know a thing about crim law. I mean, on our stream, we had two criminal defense or criminal prosecutors. Former prosecutors on, so I guess they probably don't know about criminal defense law or criminal law. I guess Emily Baker and Nate the lawyer. I mean, they wouldn't know anything, just having done the job. I'm not going to even tout me because that doesn't matter, right? But we have criminal prosecutors or former prosecutors on the stream here. But I think she's talking about Will Chamberlain says, or the mainstream media who's straight up misrepresenting what's going on at trial. Well, I mean, if you watch it here, you get every single second of the court case. Like you get it all. You get our commentary too, but man, this person doesn't know where to watch trial coverage. I mean, just tell them to watch on Law and Crime and make up their own mind, or on Washington Post, or on ABC News, or on Court TV. Several outlets are actually covering the trial with no commentary. That'd be a great place to get coverage if you want reasonable coverage, which translates to none. But that being said, this gets interesting. This guy says, okay, I'm not nuts. I was baffled how this helps him with the murder charges. I'm not an attorney. See, and again, this is the context here. But here we go. This is my favorite part. Please explain why this isn't a major admission. Genuinely curious, right? Where do I say that? Where do I say it's not? Will has never tried a criminal case and has no experience. His tweet is hilarious to actual criminal defense attorneys. So you're dunking on people who don't have any experience in a criminal trial, accurately interpreting the witness testimony, right? Okay. And then, let's see, where did it go after this? You're not too bright. It's okay, she responds. As a genuine question, all you had was snark. You're defending idiots and saying dumb stuff. I owe you nothing. This is Twitter champ. Oh, and your reading comprehension is crap. This person said, but all you're doing is vague posting. What was inherently wrong? People keep asking you, the professional, and all you reply with is vague snark. Look at I don't know what it is. I don't know what is the problem. Because again, in the context of everything that happened today, Kyle should be walking on all of the major charges, all of them. Based on Gage's testimony today, he should be walking. It was that devastating. But I guess it's just right-wing charlatans. So again, I've seen, we had plenty of attorneys on stream who seem to come to the same consensus. We've had other attorneys on Twitter talking about it. I don't know. People can make up their own minds. I thought it was a masterful moment by Shirafisi. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. There are two criminal defense attorneys, probably the two most important criminal defense attorneys with any to have any commentary on this. That would be Richards and Shirafisi. And they seemed pretty damn happy with what happened. In fact, I think I have, if you give me just one more second, I think I have a picture. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and I think we also have some criminal prosecutors in there that may not have been too happy with the testimony. But here, look at this guy. Look at that face. You're telling me that this guy isn't happy about what just happened? Oh my goodness. And again, I don't think Richards or Shirafisi went home tonight thinking that they didn't do an excellent job. And I want to, again, maybe I'm a Richards simp. I don't know. People are talking about how great Shirafisi did. I want to call attention to a couple subtle moments in the courtroom that have been going on in the past couple days. Shirafisi's about done with his questions, and he one time he even said no further questions, and he was like, oh wait, one further question. If you notice, he looks back to Richards, and sometimes he goes and confers with him and then comes back with a couple more questions. I think Richards is probably been being instrumental in constructing a lot of these questions for cross-exam, or at least sort of going, I don't know how they have their stuff organized, but at least developing the narratives that they're trying to get to, or the facts that they're trying to get to. I think it's great that Shirafisi is doing the questioning. I think he's got a better cadence and flow with it than we've seen from Richards. I mean, maybe he's different elsewhere, but from what we've seen. But that being said, I'm guessing Richards is not a lump sitting there on a log doing nothing. And yeah, that was very interesting. And I do see, I have heard that Tim Pool said he would like to have me on the show after the trial or something, or he would have me. I don't know the exact wording, not trying to misrepresent anything. Look, I'm easy to reach. And if he wants to set something up, he can certainly do that. And that's up to him. Like I said before, I don't go chasing after interviews or anything like that. That's not how I built the channel. It's not how I do things. And so if he wants to have me on the show, like basically every other show, I would see if I can, if it works, if I'm able to work it out. Yeah, probably go on there. I hear he plays guitars for his chickens though. And it'd be interesting. I have some disagreements with some of Tim's positions, which is fine by me. And a lot of people don't know that Tim Pool has actually been on this show in the past. And I would encourage people to go check out that live stream. Tim Pool came on here. It would have been, gosh, I think a year and a half to 2 years ago. So if you're a Tim Pool fan and you want to see a Tim Pool Ricada crossover, it's actually happened here on the show, and go check that out. But no, if you want someone to talk about the coverage of the case that we did, I'm happy to do so. So, that being said, other last couple things before we jump full on into the super chats. I go to the liquor store today because I killed a bottle. I killed my last bottle of liquor that was at the house. And I had to massively change the drinking rules. I would have died today if I followed up with them. There were 19,000 likes by the time I shut the stream down. And I can't, I have to set reasonable limits. And that is one that was a bridge too far for me. Bridge too far. But so I go in there and I was not going to buy this. I was going to buy something else, which I'll show you in a minute. But I did find this beautiful Calumet Farm 15-year bourbon. Calumet Farm is I like their bourbon. I've had a couple bottles before, but never an aged 15-year bottle. So I'm looking forward to that. But I didn't set out to get that. I went there to buy this Rittenhouse Rye. This is what I went there for. Bottled in bond, 100 proof Rittenhouse Rye, like a whopping $30. But when you do shots of Rittenhouse Rye, they can put you under. It's a fantastic, it's really a fantastic whiskey for just like a daily drink. If you're an alcoholic, I guess. But no, it's not expensive. It's good. It's not offensive tasting. It's well balanced. And if you're looking for an inexpensive whiskey to try, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It has no connection that I know of to Kyle Rittenhouse, but we can all live in that little fun fantasy. Describe its taste like a rye whiskey. I don't know. Oh my God. Only one of my lights is on. It's reflecting in my eye. Really weird. Okay. Okay. And yes, we did pass 190,000 subscribers today. If you're new, thank you. If you're new to the nighttime streams, like if you watched today and then you're checking in tonight, or if you're catching this on a replay, one thing I need to warn you about, I'll put a trigger warning. The nighttime shows are way different, typically speaking. This one's still going to be focused on Kyle, but the coverage at night is a different thing. We talk about news stories. We talk about things I find funny. We tell jokes. We might do reactions to videos or articles or something like that. Sometimes we do interviews with people that I find interesting. And the nighttime streams are very much rated R. They are not, if you do not like swearing, if you do not like jokes and mockery and levity, don't watch them. I mean, and if you do, you don't have to complain. Like, it's okay. Or if you do complain, know that it won't bother me, but I also won't change. I won't change, and I still love you. I love you. I love you. But they get a little racy. It's a nighttime radio show, and we cover some degenerate topics. The other day, we interviewed a diaper fetishist. So all that is real. You have been forewarned. Now, let me get to the chats that are coming in. And then also the chats that came in earlier. Well, I got to make sure I've got the right spreadsheet up. Oh boy. Oh boy. So here we go. Where is it? Right there. Actually, right here. Okay, perfect. All right, Onyx Robot says, "Hey Nick, congrats! You are Reddit famous. Clip of you and the other two lawyers laughing at the star witnesses up there. What a moment!" Yes, people have been sending me stuff. My dad sent me that he found the clip on a random message board that he frequents and stuff like that. So that was interesting. Colfate 2A wannabe Hunan Muhammad says, "Stream said 1,500 watching, then you start talking, it drops to around 740 viewers." Lamau, it's how YouTube tabulates viewers. It always drops right at the beginning. Right when you start the stream, it drops significantly. I have no idea why it does that. That's just how they do it. Ferocious says, "Congrats, Nikki. Put this towards your liver transplant." Oh, thank you. Tall Skinny Geek says, "Tonight I'm late. My wife is going to be very disappointed." Lou Lon Baker says, "Have a drink on me to celebrate your coverage and hard work." Thank you very much. I'll do that in a little bit. Fame NV says, "You're now brought up on Timcast, lol. You should go on Timcast and ask him personally how often he plays guitars to his chickens. Law twits are losing their marbles. It's glorious. Enjoy the successful couple weeks, bro." Aw, just condemned me to only having a successful couple weeks, not a whole life. Ah. Ray Day says, "So Binger showed the video where Gage is getting medical treatment and says, 'I was,' and Binger stops the feed. In the full video, Gage says, 'I was trying to get him.' Binger knew the motive and mind of Gage and lied." Well, Binger has been treading very close to the edge. Very close to the edge. Christopher says, "Don't know how true it is. There's a rumor that an activist in the courtroom taking pictures of the jury in order to threaten them. If this is true to jury intimidation, should the defense point this out if true charges?" I addressed this last night. I think if the court was giving it serious attention, it would have been brought up in in a motion or something today. Although maybe they're trying to tamp down news coverage of it. It may have been why they went in chambers at the end of the day to address what to do about this. I don't know. We won't know what they were talking about in chambers. I think right now it won't have any impact on the case presently. If one of two things, it may get the guy who said it, who is apparently the nephew of George Floyd, may get him in trouble. And that would be on him. Sorry, I thought I heard one of my kids. The other thing that it could do is, I suppose, if Kyle were convicted, that could be part of some sort of appeal, but I don't think that that's likely at this point. William Foley said the prosecution forgot the key to professional success is to not become a case study in a textbook. Yes. Marty Lund says, "I love today's stunning conclusion of Doc Glock and the amazing bicep. Still, the best part about this was watching Law Twitter melt down. Has anyone sent out a wellness check for Low T or any of 2 Tons alt accounts?" I don't go check for what their hot takes are. I don't tend to find them interesting. I know that, for the past several months, Bedek Martin has been saying specifically that Kyle will be found guilty, that he's looked at the law and definitely he's going to be guilty on basically everything. And there's some people there who agree, but I haven't kept track of who. And again, it was a while back. I don't know if he's changed his tune. He has changed his tune. I have no idea. and again, their opinions are of less value to me than just about anyone else on the planet. So, um, so yeah, I'm not super keen on figuring out what hot take they have. Okay, on to the chats from earlier. And I'm just going to start burning through them. I will try my damnedest to also catch any Q&A stuff, but I'm going to start going through these, and this will probably have some of the questions that people may ask as well. All right. Jerko Games says, you look like Ty Beard went trans. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that I get to be the representative of Ty Beard as a man. That's perfect. Perihelion says, I'm digging that shirt, Nick. Here's to a great spectacle. Go Kyle and let's go Brandon. Mr. Squiggles says, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Fix the volume, Nick. JK, just kidding. Thanks for doing these streams. I did fix the volume today. I think it was much better. Today. And so one thing about the volume is when I'm on StreamYard, I don't have any monitors and they do post-processing on the audio. And so it's hard for me to balance exactly because I don't hear what you hear. I hear what comes to me. So I think today, though, I got it. So I don't like to try and adjust volume on the fly because it doesn't work well unless I have a good baseline. But I found a nice sweet spot today, and I think we nailed it. Alpha Xeon, this is first time super chat. Whoa, and you started off huge. You're supposed to start off like a $2 one. What are you doing, man? He says, I love you too. Been here since Vic. I listened to you while I worked, was blessed, but the Woo flu killed my job making theater furniture. Jobless now, but I'm fine thanks to TSLA. Keep it up. Peace. Well, Alpha Xeon, thank you so much. And I do hope that that you do, when necessary, return to gainful employment. Squizgar in Ralphie Wiggum voice. I'm slow. I don't know how to do Ralph's voice anymore. I used to watch The Simpsons a lot, but I don't anymore. Fenrir Lycro says, Nick is late and gay, brawny paper towel guy. Thought Halloween already passed. It's always Halloween. It's always. Justin P says, hey man, found your channel through this case. Are you planning on covering more cases going forward? Love the show. Yeah, if there's a case where I can get a camera feed in a courtroom and make, and it's interesting, I'd love to. I know Law and Crime, for example, always has like a murder trial or whatever going on, but I usually don't know anything about them. So if there are particular cases and people know of video feeds that are going to be available, I'll cover them. I wanted to cover Kim Potter, the taser lady, but she is not, they're not going to have cameras in that courtroom. Look like if Riker and Data had a baby. DJ Tommy C. Colosi says, is he considered armed if he only has one arm now? Doc Window Liquor. So I'm certain we heard the FBI dudes say they lost the video. Was I hallucinating? If not, where can I find the clip? So I was wrong on that. I heard them say that they had the HD drone footage, and I assumed it was the FBI footage. Turns out it was just that weird drone video from like hundreds of yards away that we couldn't see, but the cop on his iPhone was able to zoom and enhance. And on his iPhone, he was able to clearly see that Kyle Rittenhouse aimed his gun at Zeminski, a piece of evidence that has not been introduced or corroborated anywhere and still has not, as they have not been able to actually show it on video. So that was very frustrating. And they're trying to mitigate the fact that Zeminski fired first. But even if Kyle had pointed a gun at Zeminski, he retreated. Zeminski's shot came well after he had pointed the gun at him. I don't think he did. I've never seen it. It's never been on any other video. And we have closer video than that. So, but even if he did, he had retreated. Zeminski wasn't the one chasing him. Zeminski did not fire on Kyle in self-defense. Kyle did not appear to be the aggressor, even if he had raised his gun at that point. We don't know why he might have raised his gun if he did. And again, I think the most important thing is he didn't. He didn't, according to the evidence. Drearier Spider 1 says, Nick, thanks for covering every second of the trial. Commentary and analysis is great. Use streaming to any alt tech, e.g. Odyssey, Rumble, etc. I feel like I answered this one the other day, and maybe it was on the catch up yesterday. I don't know, but I do not multi-stream anywhere right now other than YouTube. I've thought about it, and I may be doing that on Rumble soon. Probably should have done that before the trial. It would have probably blown up the Rumble, but oh well. The benefit of history. Speaking of that, my wife and I are watching Travelers, the Netflix show. We're like 4 episodes in. I think she watched it earlier, but I'm 4 episodes in. I like it. Decent show so far. Vienna Waits for You says, Nick looking like a younger, leaner version of Al Borland from Home Improvement. Bilbonius Bag of Donuts says, gonna need you to hold Bezos's mouth near the mic. Yeah, he still is far away from the mic. He still is far away. Andrew War Snowboard, probably not Twitch tonight because early show. Stitz4 says, as Kermit voice, slow mode and modified drinking rules. We did it, chat. We broke Nicky Rackets and his audio levels. Can I get a you're talking over the judge? Chris, nope, I read that one and that one. Being a wait for you says, I was encouraging Nick to drink a whole lot on Friday. I feel guilty now. Richard Merritt says, I know you can't solve the volume issues, but how about bringing peace to the Middle East by end of day? No, I did that. That's easy. Taranagas says, as Richards, Nick, you and the team did an excellent job. Cheers to you and them. Here's a drink for Big Boy. Thank you, Mark Richards. R. Servy says, watching from Dublin, Ireland, loving the trial and your coverage. Slant. I don't speak Irish. I don't know how to say that word, but I appreciate it. Bendak says, hey, Nick, just drove past the courthouse on the way to the post office. Nobody outside it except media and cops. And this is pretty amazing. That we have not had major demonstrations outside of this. All of the reeing seems to be reserved for Twitter. Solancha. It's Slainte. Well, why would that have a CH sound? What is this? Do the Irish not know how to speak? Don't answer that. Warhawk of Chagoris. By the way, I just got my Warhawk of Chagoris book. Did you get yours? Nick, congratulations to you and this degenerate community on 190,000 subs. I wish nothing but health, happiness, and success for you and your family. Thank you for the hours of entertainment, 24-hour stream. Drink, lawman. Yeah, right. They're actually just afraid of Kyle. They know Kyle's like, excuse me, Your Honor, I'll be right back. Kyle walks casually back into the room. Thank you, Your Honor. I just needed to take out the trash. Whiskey Actual says, Nick, if you're doing legal briefs, you should also do gray sweatpants for men called Legal Impressions. Oh, no. It's Slancha. And yes, we can't speak. Thank you, Nexi. So it's Slancha, huh? Okay. I will try and remember that the next time I see it. Steve says, a friend of mine emailed the George Floyd nephew video to Richards. Hope it's brought up. Also take a shot every time a nose is posted in chat. No. What are you talking about? Adolf Newman says, am I in time for Nick the Nose's infamous black pill stream? Not today. Today was white pills left and right. It was great. Who's me? Thank you for the donation. Brandon Jensen says, Gage, get our boy off. I know it's not your first. Oh my goodness. Cool it with the anti-Semitism, someone says. They're making fun of my nose. I'm not Jewish, though. It's just me. That's the nose. That's the nose they're talking about. It's a nose of love. And you're all under its shadow. Michael Sheridan says, definitely worth the tip. Thanks for educating us and entertaining us discussing this shit show of a show trial. You know what? I think I can move my chat window to over where I'm looking. That might be helpful. And I might have a chance to catch a couple more things. Runkle of the Bailey, who ended up coming on the show, said, would you be inclined to have a Canadian lawyer join one of these days? What's the best way to reach you? He had already reached me. He didn't know it yet, but I just hadn't gotten around to responding to him. And we got him on the show today. I like him. I want to bring him back to discuss some other topics or more trial commentary. So hopefully, that'll happen. That'll happen. He seemed like a nice guy. Caroline Ann says, when you imitate Richards, you sound exactly like Chris Farley. G-Man says, so Rosenbaum's girlfriend dated manlets with mental disorders and no money. I might need to slide into her DMs. I would be like a king. Wait, would you be? Well, there you go. I guess it says all it needs. Hey, what's up, Camelot? Yeah, I saw you in here earlier, buddy. How you doing? Cartoon Foxes says, Runkle is in the chat. Send invite. The Redneck Ram says, I agree with the welder guy. The Rittenhouse streams have been great listening while working rural route mail carrier. Oh, man, that's a long, the driveways are spaced very far apart. President-elect Austin M. says, prosecutor said medics don't have guns, but Gage did. Yes. And the jury should have probably been picking up on that Gage's testimony and Binger's framing of everything, highly hypocritical. Oh, I said I wasn't going to bring up any more Twitter stuff, but I did have to send a tweet earlier today and I wanted to share it with you, or just a little bit before the show. I wanted to share it with you. This won't take long either. Here we go. I sent this tweet today. Yo, Dawn Patrol MKE, good testimony today. That's Dawn Patrol MKE. So, just in case anybody was not sure about that, I wanted to make sure and tell them they did a good job. They did have a baller tweet right here. Just one short day ago. Rittenhouse is accused of shooting and killing 2 men outside the dealership. Friday, workers testified they didn't ask anyone to protect the business. And then there's this guy who eventually says, Gage Grosskreutz, arm blown up, claimed to be a medic, yet he was carrying a concealed handgun. Did he have bloodlust? Look at his response. You seem to be forgetting. Ooh, look at that ratio. Oh my God. You seem to be forgetting a couple key facts. I have a legal right to carry as well as the privilege to do so concealed. You lied. Why you always lying? I have extensive emergency medical training and experience, including working as a paramedic and as an WFA instructor. Oof. You don't have the privilege to do so concealed. That would normally have been a crime, except that the prosecution is going after Kyle which is the main reason that you, are not in jail. Mr. MB Crazy AB says, are there any lawyers on YouTube that think he's guilty? I know it's a political case, but I don't see the divide in people who actually know the facts. Chunk Uyghur of the Young Turks is actually a lawyer, or he's got a law degree. I don't know that he's licensed, but he might think he's guilty, but I think the Young Turks have been walking that back. So other than that, I have no idea. I have no idea if he actually does or not. Fox McLeod says, Your Honor, I move to dismiss this case on the grounds that Kyle did not kill people. He killed communists. Malcolm Campbell says, Rosenbaum dipping between two vehicles has been testified to, correct? Yes. Rittenhouse would have just noticed a Jawa cosplayer behind him when sitting down with the force. Setting down with force the extinguisher, other than Kaminsky being armed. Just saying. And MacGyver Man says, Binger reminds me of Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2, both in looks and failure rate. Yeah, Binger's he's a guy. All right. He is a guy. But no, I'm not aware of any lawyers on YouTube who think he's guilty. I'm not aware of any lawyers who think he's guilty. That's the funny thing about that LB Twitter account. They seem to agree, at least in principle, that what was going on was good for Kyle. I don't know. Maybe they don't think that that's maybe they don't think that he's not guilty, but I don't know. I think maybe they were mistaken. I'm guessing they were mistaken on facts by taking the clip, the 8 seconds, as the only thing that happened, and ignoring the fact that we've been watching this trial the whole time. Jacob says, I loved listening to your stream on my lab machine at work. I may have to put in more hours this week because today I did not get any work done. Well, I got some news for you. We got more coverage tomorrow. Colfate 2A. Oh, wait, no, I read that one. Here we go. Trapper9998 says, thanks for keeping us up to date on this trial, mate. Australian lawyer. Watermelon Sugar High says, it's not a bicep. It's a curled up t-shirt. Look at the guy on the right. Lawyers should see the whole picture, huh? Yeah, sure. Sure, Watermelon Sugar High. Angry Baneling says, Alita, please give this super chat to Indy. Thanks. N. Karn says, Nick, keep the diversity to a minimum, please. Big T Armada says, my chat, my legion, my volume. I hear my kids being loud and they need to go to sleep. Planet Tober TV says, every time I super chat about my game, I get wish lists and sell a few copies. Plus get called a fascist and bigot on Steam, but that's probably fine. So thanks to you and your chat, and for the entertainment while at work, Slancha. Planet Tober TV, what's your game, man? I know you've said, I've seen your name. I know you've talked about it, but I don't remember the name of the game. So Big McLarge Huge says, listening at work also while running skid steers and bulldozers with my coworkers. Hainit Gers. Motherfucker. It says Hainit Gers. I should have pre-read that one a little better. Angry Baneling says, Andrew, this super chat is for you. Get it from Nick. Gerald Hester. Nope, read that one. Tomb World. Hey, Nit Gers, he said. YouTube. Fucking transcript. Richards can say it. So can a super chat, I guess. In Richard's voice from Tomb World. Your Honor, I object to Mr. Grosskreutz as a witness because he can't raise his right hand to take the oath. Wrestler Town says, nobody deletes data ever, ever, ever. Incarn says, Your Honor, the prosecution calls Gage Bicep Sashimi Grosskreutz to the stand. Steven says, at this moment, your stream is beating every mainstream alternative in live views. Congrats and stuff. Not applicable says, the stall out to deny Cross. Is that appealable? No. And turns out that's not what they were doing. They did the worst. They gave the worst timing that they could, in my opinion. They handled today very poorly. Hipoopy says, I'm already bored senseless. Did you ever see him with a gun? Did you ever see him with a gun? Did you ever see him with a gun? And so on and so on and so on. Shane G says, a tale of two lifeguards. The Scott says, so while perusing his graduate, he was perusing an undergraduate. Okay. Mag says he's been coached to look directly at the jury. Yep. I think that's fully agreed. And that, I think that came across poorly. I think if his testimony was much shorter, sure. And then he should not have done it on cross. Ranger Jahu says, I know you're an American, but I'm challenging a law tomorrow with fresh arguments that has never happened before in Canada. I'm challenging 175.1 under Section 9 of the Charter. Well, good luck, buddy. I hope, wait, sorry. Let me say that in Canadian. Hey, good luck, buddy. Hope it works out for you. Watermelon Sugar High says 2 lifeguards and a bicep. Lemon Papu says, maybe Kyle is evil after all. He robbed Gage of his right to bear arms. Steven says, and not only are you beating alternative mainstream live streams, but it's clear YouTube positioned its algorithm to bury this stream beyond reach inquiry. Oh yeah. So one way search and discovery works on YouTube is simple. Reputable sources get pushed to the top no matter what's going on. So if you're looking for a video about COVID, for example, you're going to get reputable sources like media, mainstream media. If you're looking for a major criminal trial is being covered, across the planet, you're going to get mainstream media. If you're looking for a major political topic, you're going to get mainstream media, because mainstream media has paid YouTube for the privilege to be up top, because their money is generated elsewhere. YouTube doesn't have to pay out to them. So they just need the views to drive traffic to their TV channels. But Wolfgang Deo says, did you hear Kentaro Miura died? Any Vic news? And in fact, I saw no Vic news. And yes, I heard about Kentaro Miura. Very unfortunate. I saw Camelot in the chat here ask how the stream is not on trending. I'm not going to say much about YouTube and how they have treated this channel for the past 18 months. I'm just going to have a sip of this whiskey and be quiet. That's the reality of telling the truth. That's the reality of telling the truth. Mags says, all these classes and you try out for Antifa. What a total waste of time and money. Newstar says, I thought EMT with a gun was a bad thing. Oh, it is. It is. Elliot Walker says, constantly turning and moving around like he's on some sort of drug. It's extremely annoying. Nkarn says, does that mean Kyle is a paramedic because he put new holes in people? Yes. Yes. Ranger Jahu, if you DM him to me somewhere or whatever, I'll try and find some time to look at him. But I've been seriously, it's stream, spend a little time with the family, make dinner, eat dinner, hang out with the wife for a little bit, back to stream. So very busy lately. Nkarn read that one. Trapper 9998 says, an EMT so heartless he was willing to execute a kid. Boys Mommy Tube says, as a paramedic myself, we are trained repeatedly and continuously for scene safety. Medics cannot help others if they are injured. Count Snecula says, read that one. Blake Pritchard says, Binger told McGinnis It's unnatural for medics to carry firearms, yet he's going to portray Grosskreutz as a hero for drawing one on Kyle. Snake. And maybe they'll bring that up on Cross. Mr. Obvious has a great clip of us. Okay. I'm going through the chats right now. So for now, I'll have to let it go. But Mr. Obvious, been on a couple shows with him. Seems like a nice chap. Comrade Roof Cree in the base says, of all the windbags Kyle had to blow a bicep off of. Yes. Give me just a second, guys. I got to tell these kids to go to sleep. Okay. Good Lord. Whew. I hope you guys could hear me say, go to sleep. Go to sleep. All right. Cuomo's revenge says the Kyle Rittenhouse self-defense incident. No, I'm not going to turn on slow mode on this stream. Wolfgang Deo says, I only listen to people with two arms. Titus8629 says, in other words, he's the person you get when you scream, hello, I've fallen and I can't get up. The Scott16 says, Mr. Gage, please flex for the court. Both arms, please. Mr. Gage, if you do not flex both arms for the court, you'll be considered a docile witness. Space Reptile says, the longer he's on the stand, the more the pain meds wean out of his system. He will fall apart the longer he goes. He looked, I don't know that he's still on pain meds. I mean, maybe he is. It's been a while. It's been over a year. Barry Soitoro says, homeboy's eyes look like he hit the meth hard over the weekend. Steph D says, better ask if he brought a med bag too or just a gun. Holy cat, Sonny Gonzalez says, had to let Tim Pool know that your name is pronounced Rakeda or Leighton Gay Boomer in Lemoyne voice. Con slut controller. So my dad sent me a message today and he was like, why couldn't the prosecution just manage this witness? Like, why does it seem like they were unprepared? And I don't know the answer, but my speculation was this. Gage Grosskreutz is a revolutionary who went armed to an Antifa riot. Is just an unhinged, unstable individual in general. Like that's who he is. I mean, you can't expect these people to more than LARP as being reasonable, because they won't. I mean, they're unreasonable people. So they can LARP at it for a little bit, but eventually it's going to catch up. And I think that's what happened there. Corrections 101 says, as a mentally struggling 1L law student, I skipped classes today to watch the stream to remind myself why I want to be a criminal defense attorney for fuel in the gas tank to end the semester. I've never felt more at home. Hey, Corrections 101, stick with it, man. That first year is tough. It's tough, and it's all a mind game. But after that, you can do it. You can do it. Steph D, read that one. Kyle Cowden says, not really as bad as speaker as I expected. I've treated hundreds of gunshot wounds and it's very mechanical, but I'm a cold-hearted soul. Sonny Gonzalez, thank you again, says our rackets. Very much appreciated. Let's see. Automata says, can't unsee your Die Hard reference now. Thanks. Yeah, he looked like Ellis. Hans Booby, I'm your guy, right? Doing all the cocaine. Vienna waits for you, says, it'd be scary to call the paramedics, and Grosskreutz arrives at the scene. Hope he left his pistol at home. Don't worry, he wasn't going to be responding on any actual ambulance calls from a paramedic. His EMT experience, as he stated for his 1 year of doing it, was to ride in an ambulance with elder or geriatric patient transport. It's interesting him talking about the gunshot wounds. I wonder how many he's actually had to deal with. Matros says he's an EMT and someone is shot, and his first instinct is run away from the victim. Heroic. Law of Self-Defense says, is this the Ricada Law channel? Hey, is that you, Mr. Branca? Is that you, good sir? How you doing, man? It's been a while. But yes, it's me. DCV Titan says, shooting people that were turning themselves in. Guys, if you're not familiar, by the way, there's if that's him, I think it's him in the chat. The Law of Self-Defense is a guy named Andrew Branca, and he is a self-defense use of force expert. He has been covering the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. He's also been covering the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Very insightful webpage is lawofselfdefense.com, I believe. I think it's .com if it's not .org. But yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. I had him on a show a long time ago, back when the Arbery incident was a new incident. We talked about the case. A lot has gone on, and a lot of new facts have emerged since then. So I'm kind of curious to get his take on it, but I haven't had much time to read. So, but again, if you're interested in self-defense and use of force, he is a guy to talk to. And they just sent a super chat. Says, is this the Ricada Law show? It is the Ricada Law show. That it is. Mags says, it'll be interesting to see if his looking at the jury body language will change if defense grills him. The jury might see that change. He kept doing it. It was just a lot faster. So it changed in a weird way. It was the way he was moving. It felt very unnatural. We talked about that a little on the show. Real Hydro PX says, drink when Gage. Grosskreutz says, Mike Lombardo says, hey, Nikki, have you effed any melons lately? Lol, I've watched, listened to every minute of your coverage. It's been hilarious and great. No, I don't F melons, but that's okay. That's okay. Law of Self-Defense. No, I'm going to put you don't have to do anything, but I'm going to put a moderator tag on you just so I can see you whenever you come in the chat. So, also, I'm going to reach out. I think by email, I've got you. I'm going to send you an email, and if you want to talk about this case at all, I'd love your take on how it's going. Printer God says they're going to argue that he was trying to give Kyle first aid when he saw him fall and get hurt. Could be. Technotoad says Gage has clearly been coached. He's moving too much, and I'm willing to bet he's wearing one of Binger's suits. Very possible. Very possible. These kids, man. These kids. I might have to deal with that. Blah, blah says, does him looking at the jury constantly help him or hurt him? Seems weird to me. Look at who asked you the question when you're answering. Yeah, I think they wanted him to humanize himself by talking to the jury, looking at them, telling them what's going on. But when he kept doing it got real weird. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. These kids, I don't know what's going on out here. Oh my gosh, these kids. Sorry about the delay there. My I have 3 girls and 2 boys, and the girls are just not going to sleep and being very, very loud. Jeremiah Loper, thank you for the donation. Yeah, and I think the body language was weird. I said that at the beginning when he first started doing it, and then I thought it got even weirder on Cross. Isaiah Smith says the real question is, did Mr. Grosskreutz cross state lines? Vienna waits for you again. It's such an irrelevant narrative about the crossing state lines. Even if Kyle Rittenhouse had taken a gun across state lines, that would not have invalidated his self-defense claim. Gunners Games, thank you, says my sergeant husband was fired for posting a Rittenhouse news article on his private Facebook last year. Does anyone know of an attorney near Seattle who could represent? We've called so many and so many are scared to help, even if they agree. Please. Gunners Games, I don't know if they practice up in Seattle, although this may be a federal claim. So I would talk to Mark Randazza. Call the Randazza Law Group. They are the type of law firm that tends to take cases like that, speech cases, and that is a free speech case. Sharing sharing an article on a private Facebook group doesn't seem like that's within the scope of his employment, and he should be entitled to some level of free speech protection. So I would, you say he's a sergeant. I'm not sure. I assume a government employee of some sort. So I would check on that. I would maybe inquire with the Randazza Law Group. Steve Houston says, what's the story about Gage's $10 million lawsuit? Gage's testimony today very well could have sunk his lawsuit. His testimony was very bad for his pending civil suits. I would not recommend doing what he did on the stand. He admitted to basically omitting key facts in those lawsuits, and his civil attorney was probably pulling her hair out at it. Vienna waits for you, says, fortunately, Gage's career as a gun-toting SJW EMT wannabe wanting to shoot 17-year-old patriots has been permanently disabled. Philip Brevard says, 40 cal, eh? Didn't the police witnesses say they found 40 cal casings near the unidentified shots near or aimed at Kyle? How many rounds left in the magazine? Well, we'll never know, right? Because he lost it. And Zeminski's gun was just lost, stolen, actually. Zeminski's gun, he had to report it stolen. Someone just stole it after he fired it. Weird. Pualani Casey says, didn't the Marine say he dropped the mag and cleared the chamber when he found his gun? Can defense ask him about that somehow? Oh, yeah, he did. I don't know if they wanted to they must not have wanted to focus on it too much. They didn't really have any questions on it. But yes, the Marine testified that he did clear the chamber and pull the mag out. Nice to Lizard says, this dude looks like he's about to fail a persuasion check on Hans Gruber. Woo! David Kochanowicz says, if he was an EMT paramedic, why instead of chasing Kyle, why didn't he try to help Rosenbaum? That was one of the questions they ended up asking on Cross. And it's a good question. And not even just Rosenbaum. Remember, earlier in the night, he saw Kyle carrying someone towards the car source to render, presumably to render first aid. And a bunch of people screamed, don't accept treatment from them. And then he saw the person walk away, but he didn't go treat the person. He didn't seem to care at all. So his whole concerned medic, the concerned medic thing was embarrassing. Law of self-defense says court TV should have had a camera on his attorney's weeping face in the courtroom. There was that one moment right after he said well, he didn't actually shoot you until you stepped at him, lifted up your gun and pointed it at his head, right? Correct. And I mean, the big prosecutor just just buried his face in his mitts. Charles Iron says, I'm going to be so sad when this is over. I love when trials like this bring us all together. Sonny Gonzalez says, do I know about kids messing up nights? That's sometimes what they do. Onyx, next. Digitalis says, seeing someone with gauged ears and a tailored suit is like finding a drag queen in the wild. You instantly know you're being lied to. I Hate Yankee says, bailiff whack his peepee. Hooplehead says, I hope someone ties their shoes. Deadly Zebra says, so he admitted to carrying a 40 caliber after they said they found empty 40 caliber casings around the pedo shooting scene. Yes, and those casings, we're not sure where they came from, but I don't know that he was actually over there when that happened. Wrestler Town says, Gage canonization dolphin rescue great abs.mp4. Those video titles were awful. Awful. David Orndorff says, wonder how much Kyle is wishing he had hit center of mass. It ended up good for him. It ended up good for him in the end, I think. I think Gage's testimony helped Kyle far more than did any damage. But I'm just me. I'm just a guy with an opinion. Rogue says, ACLU observers conveniently turning away yet again. K. Scott says, you lose your license if you have a crime on your record, so he lost it. His criminal act that's on his record, I believe, is a misdemeanor and would not, in my thoughts, I don't think it would actually disqualify him from concealed carry permit, but his permit was expired. So who knows? Or maybe they were tacitly saying that he lost his concealed carry permit because of his criminal record, and that's why he just said it wasn't valid at the time. Garrett Wright says him helping his friends is different than Kyle helping those he disagrees with. There's a guy named Jesus that mentions this, Matthew 5:46-47. Let's see. The Christian Nomad says those unknown 40 caliber bullets found are Gage's. John Doe says EMS is taught scene BSI/scene safety as a priority. If he was operating as any kind of medical capacity, he would have ran away from danger. Mandalore Wise says, wait, are they trying to argue that Rosenbaum never threatened to kill Kyle if he was ever found alone? All because this guy wasn't present to hear? They're trying to plant that seed. Yeah. Ranger Jahu. I see your message about the Twitter DM, my man. Thank you. Robert Picklesnickle says, Nick, I'm so confused. He just admitted to concealed carrying without a license. Why are we even listening to this guy right now? Gregor Eisenhorn says he's doing a great job of remembering his lines. Robert Rogers says, where the hell is the fast forward button? Not going to happen on live TV. Manny Fabani says his quick answers come off way too rehearsed and disingenuous, super off-putting. Asterath the Grim says, oh, Kyle didn't change his gloves regularly? Oh, well, he should have let Gage kill him then. And yes, that is, I'll say it again, it is the ultimate fallback to people who are saying that Kyle didn't have a right to defend himself. You have to translate that into, so he should have died then. Because Rosenbaum was catching Kyle. Like he was going to catch him. He's clearly catching up. And the option that Kyle had, if he was in legitimate fear of, reasonable fear of imminent death or serious bodily injury, is to die. It's either die or defend yourself. He no longer had anywhere to run to. Not that he had a duty to run, but he was still out of room. Same thing with Huber. Same thing with Grosskreutz. If Huber keeps hitting him with the skateboard and he doesn't actually shoot him, or if he pulls that gun off of him, he's toast. Or the crowd could be toast. He doesn't know, but he's definitely in danger. So when they say, oh, well, he was out past curfew, so he should just die then. Oh, well, that doesn't seem reasonable. No, it doesn't. Well, he was carrying a gun illegally as a minor, so he should just die then. It seems a little harsh. Yeah, doesn't it? Sonny Gonzalez. Oh my gosh. You're dropping A lot of super chats here. Says you need to get this drunk bitch on night stream some night. Well, email me, Sonny. Maybe we could work something out. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. 9mm age says he's using the Let's Go Brandon defense. TGF00 Buck says runner up in the Kenosha quick draw contest takes a stand. Mike Lombardo says the only question I want answered is why he faked Kyle out. Also, according to Posobiec, he was a part of an Antifa group. Yeah, they got him giving a stupid answer on Cross. He said, "Are you a member of this particular group?" He's no, like, but I am affiliated with them. Why would you say that? Such a bad answer. It was so weird. That was one where he just should have said no. Well, you gave a speech with him. Yeah. You a member? No. You affiliated with him? No. Just gave a speech one time. He already said one speech. He gave one speech. I've given a speech at places and I'm not affiliated with. It happens from time to time. DCV Titan says, thought it was odd, but it didn't get clarified. 2% right says, damn it, Palpatine, not Palatine. DCV Titan says, if he thought Kyle was working with the police, why'd he draw on and attempt to kill a potential law officer? Yeah, that was interesting. I thought he said he was working with the police. He lied. No, that was good. Shirfisi got him on Cross on that too. He's like, well, he lied. Or Binger or someone said, well, he lied. And he's like, but he didn't lie. You misheard him. So you agree now that's not what he said. So he didn't lie. That was a good check on that. Ron Burgundy says Grosskreutz is a felony possession of a firearm charge for carrying while intoxicated from 2015. That's a felony in Wisconsin? It's a misdemeanor here. Who's Me says, I think Binger was trying to imply premeditation. Kyle wearing gloves to prevent gunpowder residue. Maybe. I think they were just trying to pose him as not actually an EMT. I think they were just impeaching his EMT status, which is just a mind game for the jury. It's not legally relevant, but they're just trying to cast as much negative shadows on this kid who made bad choices and shouldn't have been there. Is the theory part of the theory of their case. Drexkin says, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gage hearing something different doesn't affect Kyle's mindset that he was under attack and defended himself, right? Correct. The most important part, pretty much the only relevant part to what's been going on, is Kyle's state of mind. So they're really going for Gage's state of mind, trying to show him as a hero, running towards danger, stopping an active shooter, all that stuff. None of that actually ends up mattering in the legal analysis of what's going on. Again, for the jury, it's a little bit of a different question because juries don't apply the law, or they apply the law with context when they do it, when they make these decisions. But it's Kyle's state of mind that matters for the legal questions. And law of self-defense, if you happen to hear this and you want to throw an opinion in the chat, what do you think about the prosecutor or the defense's chances on a motion for a directed verdict or a motion to dismiss following the prosecution's case in chief? I mean, at first I was like, no, they'll never do that. But I've moved to a non-zero position on that. I think the odds are still low, but I think there's a chance on this one. That guy says, Nick, if I'm ever 100% guilty of a crime, I want you as my lawyer just to troll and have fun in the court. Literal court jester before I get locked up. Manny Fabani says, hey there, all you law cats and kittens. Mel Klomp says, if he heard Kyle say he was working with police, how often does he draw a gun on the police? Well, you maybe should ask that of Antifa. You probably get a funny answer. Planet Tober TV says, video game is savage. The Shard of Gozen. Thanks very much. Free nutrient-rich demo on Steam unless you already checked it out and hated it, in which case it would be Shart of Gosen, and I just made it terribly uncomfortable. No, Shard of Savage, Shard of Gosen. Oh, I looked that up. I actually meant to pick it up because it looked good. Sonny Gonzalez, thank you again with another big chat. Says, love you, hun. You make me laugh, and I'm told make me others laugh just because I'm Riri. Okay. Sounds good. I should turn off your super chat button, though. Sonny Gonzalez. I very much appreciate it, but thank you. James Nelson says, do active shooters typically have Q&A with people chasing them? Well, you got to sit down and talk for a little bit. Look, man, I got a couple seconds to answer some questions, but I see some guys over there that really need some new ventilation in their chassis, if you know what I'm saying. So if we can make this quick, I got to get moving. Oh my gosh. Mag says his pain meds are wearing off. Lol. Camera Shy says, did they just impeach their own witness? Yes, they've actually impeached several of their own witnesses, and it shows you just how bad the prosecution's case has been blowing up. I mean, they have not been doing well on this. Law of Self-Defense concurs, says normally the odds are theoretical and really zero. This case, they are theoretical and a hair greater than zero. Well, they've got the facts. They've got the judge to maybe make it happen. I hope they try. I mean, I know they're going to file, but I hope it gets a hearing or some consideration. I want to see Binger defend it. That would make my entire day. If they file and Schrader schedules oral argument and then makes Binger defend against the motion to dismiss. Ooh, baby, that would be great. Mike Lombardo says, look up the FBI definition of active shooter. Nah, I know. I don't need to know. It's just a silly narrative. Satoshi was a reptiloid. Says, what if Richards is always objecting, but his mic isn't working and the judge doesn't really like him? I guess it could be. Gunner says, what did you feel about failing to murder the defendant? How did that make you feel? Travis Boss says, can the defense introduce statutes directly, such as false retreat or minor in possession, or do they have to call a witness for that? No, those are statutes are self-authenticating. So they would just ask the court to take judicial notice of a particular statute. They shouldn't have to do anything to introduce the law of the state that they're in. DCV Titan says he's been in active shooter situations before. JWC read that one. Whiskey Actual. Awig says, looks like Unicept has a burglary charge, couple misdemeanors and tickets. Whiskey Actual says Grosskreutz is doing a pretty good job, but anyone who knows anything about guns can demolish him on Cross. Opinionated Female says hashtag Subway you cut. Dang right. Gunner says, let's see, definition of active shooter, shot or attempted to shoot multiple people. No evidence Kyle had attempted this when he had begun to run to police line before Jump Kick Man et al. Attacked him. Yeah, correct. It's not an active shooter under that definition. I think colloquially, if someone hears, sees someone with a gun shoot, then they in a crowd of some sort, they would colloquially consider that. But again, I don't think that their state of mind that he was an active shooter is relevant because they're not being charged with a crime. Well, and one of them's dead. Gunner says two of them, but one of them who would have been responding. Gunner says military medics are totally fine with taking a life to protect their patients. That is why they carry personal sidearms. What a maroon. Nightmare Zero says, wham, boo-hoo, as Mr. Krabs would say. Opinionated Female says, the get in my belly lawyer could use a life coach. Siumara says, not who he is or who he wishes. Why did he say he wished to be killed? He wished he killed him on the internet, lol. And that's interesting. That's an interesting sort of question. Hey, what's up, Robert Barnes in the chat too? Man, we got a star-studded chat tonight. Yeah, that's going to be interesting if they end up calling the former roommate of Gage Grosskreutz to testify to his Facebook post. All of that is going to be like, he'll say, well, Gage didn't really say that. And the jury's going to look at him and go, uh-huh. That'll be, that would be sad. Awig says, according to the complaint I'm reading, UNICEF broke in and stole a PlayStation and some games. Jack Riley, trial tomorrow is at 9 a.m. Central Time. 9 a.m. Central Time. Pastor Flash says he's crying more than Yellow Flash did over Gundam. Impossible. Camera Shy says, non-lethal, yet why did you bring the gun to the protest riot? Why did you make an internet post about it? You wish you would have killed the MFer. Yeah, and the main thing, the jury, you have to assume the jury caught that. I would never shoot anybody. Why do you have a gun with concealed carry that you've drawn and pointed at someone? Insane. And you say you believe in your right to self-defense, but you say simultaneously that you would never exercise that right? Doesn't make sense. Can Gage get charged if Kyle is clear of the charges? In theory, he can. Do you think Binger is going to turn around and charge Gage Grosskreutz? No. I don't think that's going to happen. Opinionated Females is blown out and then has a flex arm. Guardian says, it's not who I am, but my gun was drawn. I didn't think Kyle needed to testify, but now it seems like he'll need to. No, I don't think he will need to. I think, and Robert Barnes just mentioned it. Legal Bites is also in the chat. Hey, what's up, Legal Bites? I think that there's even less reason for Kyle to testify now. They've gotten state of mind evidence of Kyle Rittenhouse in all of this. In fact, Gage Grosskreutz testified that he was scared for Kyle Rittenhouse when Anthony Huber was hitting him with a skateboard. And he said that that's why he started going towards her. He was concerned for Kyle's safety. He thought he was in danger. Well, if Gage Grosskreutz, the victim of Kyle Rittenhouse, believed Kyle Rittenhouse was in danger, then it's objectively reasonable that Kyle Rittenhouse would believe that Kyle Rittenhouse was in danger. Very silly. Very silly. Comrade, Roof Korean, the base says, on an AR, there's a small clip holding the charging handle to the upper, where with the skater scuffle, safe to assume charging handle came loose, not racking. Look, racking an AR, that's a big motion, and I haven't seen Kyle actually do that on all of the video that I watched. He also, it's so fast. The whole interaction is so fast. I did not see him rack the charging handle and then chamber a next round. I didn't see that. They also have not introduced a non-spent round from the scene that was collected in evidence. And there should, if there was a jam and a round was jammed in the breach, there should be at least one expelled round when he clears the chamber and chambers a new round. Yet none of that has happened. There's no testimony to any of that. This is all new testimony with no video clips supporting it. Sheldon Hall says, looks like Gage missed arm day at the gym. Lauren P says, Gage didn't open the door to his character because it's not coming via reputation or opinion testimony, or can they impeach him with later statements? They would end up they didn't really need to. They just impeached his truthfulness. They just went straight after his truthfulness on a lot of stuff, and they nailed him on it. That whole testimony where in your own lawsuit, you read it and you signed it, right? You didn't mention a gun. You didn't mention a gun when you talked to the police. Don't you think that in a murder investigation, it would be beneficial to mention the fact that you had a gun? Now, it's funny because, of course, it would be terribly unbeneficial for him to do so, and he's under no technical obligation to mention it. He's just under an obligation not to lie about it. So, but hey, you get to ask him on cross, and Binger wasn't objecting. Binger was off his objection game today as well. There were several places where Binger could have objected effectively, especially to some of the questions that were that would have been privileged between Gage and his civil attorney. Squishy Hunter says, Gage, Kyle, how could you give me the spicy bicep? Chris Nunez says his arm is weak, looks like mom's spaghetti. Rickham Ross says, how well is Grosskreutz? I just don't have it in me. BS gonna fly in such a pro-gun state. I would feel quite judged if I were from Wisconsin. I don't know if the pro-gun side of it is the one that's going to get him. The reality is you had the gun. You had it in your hand. You were pointing it at him. You feigned surrender and then pointed it at him. You weren't going to shoot him. You're pointing the gun at him. The gun that you are concealed carrying illegally. Crusader says a man who wears a Star Wars pin in public, 150% chance he's impotent. Will H says, can we just appreciate that the captions refer to this clown and Mr. Grossgroins? 200-watt studio says, Gage, silver lining is I lost weight, I guess. Squizguard 2322 says, human meat is more akin to pork, so you want to cook it fully, or so I've heard. Vienna waits for you. Says Gage knew he'd be facing a murder rap if he shot Kyle without provocation, so Gage pulled his gun in the hopes Kyle would give him a reason to shoot. That guy says lol bicep, as in BYE. Zeranx says, it was at that moment Grosskreutz found out. Beast on the Run says Gage had not cleared leather when a bullet fairy ripped, and Kyle's aim was deadly with the long arm on his hip. Long arm on his hip. Ghost of Recon says, Kyle should win Teacher of the Year. 3 guys attempted to fuck around, and Kyle helped them find out. Let's see. Red Cell 96 says, gross, lying through his teeth. You could see it in his body language. Cross-examination should filled the prosecution. Yeah, cross was brutal. We're almost there. Angel Zonk. Grosskreutz means big cross in English. Let's hope. Tor Theo says, stop making fun of Grosskrewitz's arm. It's not okay to speak ill of the dead. Oh, no. Florian Lang says, for being based. Thank you. Alex Brandenburg says, looks like Gage could have used Brian Longcar, the strong arm. Nolan Hempy. Read that one. Doug Dimidome says, can they ask Gage how Kyle would know anything about Gage's intent in order to remind the jury that this is about Kyle, not Gage? I mean, maybe. But they asked Richie McGinnis about intent, and that the prosecution did, and that went poorly as well. Well, he screamed, fuck you, and then reached for his gun. Oof. JJ says defense should be fired for the lack of objections. I'm guessing at this point it's a strategy to let a lot go, other than what they really feel to be big. But they missed some pretty big hearsay objection today. Stephen Corona says, wait, he heard I'm working with the police. If he heard that and he proceeded to go after that, was he acting the Minecraft a cop? Are you for real? Maybe the jury heard it that way too. Kevin O'Connor, thanks for the donation. JW says he has rationalization and evasion baked into his inflection and body language, typical habit of narcissists for whom reality is always negotiable. That's me. Everything's a negotiation. Josh says his blink rate was way up and his eyes were darting all over the place while trying to explain he couldn't bring himself to fire. I think he's trying to not compromise his civil suit against the city. Charles M says, when do we get Drex back so the new viewers can learn about German Shepherds? Why would you do that to me, Charles M? Why would you say that? Pinking554 says, would you bring up the Facebook post from his friend that he wished he had shot the kid? Yeah. Yep. And they did. The Knoll Edge says, Nick, why are you cosplaying as Ty minus the battery powered glasses? Cheers to you and thanks for the dedication to this case. Crusader says, Gage falling apart on the stand is very Kino, not going to lie. Officer Rogan says, we got over 13,000 people watching right now. Been watching the entire case so far. Shout out to Nick for the great coverage and breakdowns. Free Kyle. Oh, this was still early. Got a ways to go. Zen Cicada says, is it just me or is Gage an anti-Elijah Schaefer from a Star Trek mirror universe? Gaius Nadius Caesar says, I'm big C for Caesarian, Ave Caesar. Kyle says, late but from Friday, the gun where there was one in the chamber is legal and practical, but a jury may not see it that way if they're not gun savvy. Correct. Mandalore Wise says, is it just me or are these first actual clips as opposed to full videos? Yeah, they didn't want to show some of the full videos today. Super Iron Bob says, what do you have against your new viewers learning about the joys of dog behavioral analysis? Nothing. Crusader says, may Allah shower blessings upon you. All of you. Gage said that. He thought Kyle said he was working with the police, so he followed and drew his weapon to not shoot a police informant. Tor Theo says, can we have an edited clip of Grosskreutz singing, how could this happen to me? OG Boxer says, okay, subbed. I mean, they're not Viva, but not everyone can be Viva. You saying I'm not Viva? Oh my goodness. Pseudosnark says the titles annoy me. If I send PA video/photo evidence, I name them the case number and suspect name with numbers. 21-123 Pseudosnark 1. Wouldn't ever use subjective wording like that. Yeah, but they've got to pull out all the stops in this trial and they knew it. Jared says, am I mistaken or did you get 275,000 views on your live stream today? 275 and climbing. We had at one point very, very near 27,000 live viewers. It was amazing. It was amazing. James Fortune says, I'm new. You guys are great. Love this commentary. Hey, thank you, James. Everybody's going to leave when they realize it's just me on this channel and none of the guests. They're all just wanderers. Dick Tracy says, make sure you share your grift. Hey, I do. Phoenix Lord Asserman says, congrats on 10K. I think he was talking to Legal Bites for hitting 10K. Legal Mindset also hit 10K, which is awesome. Curtis GHC says, if you take everything the prosecution says is true, it just shows Grosskreutz acted in self-defense, not doing anything to show Rittenhouse didn't. I think it actually gives a sense that Rittenhouse even did too. I think it was that bad today. I got Canada Dry. I'm so happy. Ginger ale. Ginger ale is a good chaser for liquor for me. Vienna Waits for You says, afternoon, Nick, start partying like it's 22 years ago. That's the most appropriate live chat, I think, so far. Charles M says, I said it because I love you. Thank you, Charles M. B&B Forge and Leather Company says, as a police officer for over 15 years, I appreciate your commentary on this case. Hey, thank you. Thank you, B&B. Hippoopy says, Nick, I have that exercise and hives thing. Yes, cholinergic urticaria. It's great. Everyone should try it. Sirenite says, the Hague Convention of 1899, Declaration 3, prohibited the use in international warfare of bullets that easily expand or flatten in the body. Hollow points are war crimes. Yeah, I guess. Legal Bites could instantly double her subscriber count by dyeing her hair red. The double would be Baneling Alts alone from Tradeo. Thank you. Tradeo, also true. Zero Cipher says, would it be better to show the video of Gage saying he wished he emptied his clip or hold the video back and ask him what he said first? I don't think that's on video. But maybe it is. Ryan Hurd says, how long do you think the prosecutor will question this guy? I thought he was going to question him all day. I thought they were going to drag it out the way he's been dragging out other testimony. I thought this is their big star, and they'd want him to sit there and cry like a baby on stand for 7 hours. They only questioned him for about 2. And then the reaping came when Sharafisi said, my turn, my turn. Zarniak, too, says, is it bad for their story that Kyle didn't continue to shoot? Seems to contradict their narrative that Kyle was there to kill. Yes. Peter Pete says the weasel was couched. Every time he talks, he looks at the jury. Coached is what it means. Says couch. Tranny Bear says this testimony seems to have nothing to do with Kyle or this case. A lot of that going around. Ghost of Recon says that's an expensive way to find out. Crypto's Chaos says dude has skin in the game. Himatlo says, do you even lift, bro? Bit rude. I'll take it. Just Iron says, I wouldn't be surprised if after the trial, this guy is arrested for some heinous stuff because he's a horrible person. Mr. Squiggle says his arm probably looks like Popeye when he's low on spinach. Small piece of muscle hanging from under his arm. Lol. JP says, wound debridement is not a surgical procedure. I work in an ICU. No, it's surgical. Look, JP, he was an EMT for 1 year in an ambulance that transported patients rather than responding to trauma. Student of history says he wanted a souvenir due to being an activist. Little did he know he was going to get a better one to show off. Tranny Bear says, what do his emotions have to do with this case? Vienna Waits for You says nothing. Vienna Waits for You says, tragically, Gage's dream of becoming the arm wrestling champ of Kenosha was obliterated. Ace Brain says, congrats, Nikki. The other day you were just talking about how you wish you could go viral. Seems the universe has responded. I didn't say I wish I could go viral. I said I haven't gone viral. I can't figure out how to do it. But today was good. But technically Viva went viral. Let's be honest. That thieving Canadian reached into America and stole my content, and he went viral with it. What is this? How many Twitter followers did Viva Fry steal from America today? Mag says, would a jury have a negative perspective towards prosecution if he keeps impeaching his own witnesses? Hopefully. You can call me Al says, so the Antifa member was scared when people came to his house and family's house? Lol, what a bunch of tools. Amazing how that happens. A bunch of numbers says, but did you die? Anthony DeAngelo says, so what you're saying is when you jack, it's always the stranger. Dang. Charles M says, shame on us thieving Canucks. That's right. Shame on you. Shame for everything Viva has done. Hippoopy says he needs to stop smacking his lips. Stephen Gann says the image is a medical symbol. DCV Titan says here comes the boom. Day of the Dude says do no harm became dude no arm. 200 Watt Studio says, has your injury affected your ability to jack off? Shattercoin says, would this testimony be considered perjury? People should not get too wrapped up on the idea of perjury in court. I mean, it happens a lot and it's prosecuted almost never. It's just kind of the way perjury goes. Mag says, look at Binger's face. He was broken several times today. DCV Titan says, Binger's colon currently producing diamonds. Doesn't matter. Says, like an adult lion chasing down a baby gazelle, Sharafisi is obliterating Gage's character statements like Kyle did his bicep. Disaster Master says this man is Agent 47 with how he's assassinating Grosskreutz' character. Trevor R says Kyle took the first shot, but his lawyer is going to murder this guy on stand. Kenosha assassin. Mado Caster says neo-Marxists are insidious people, anything to further the cause. Tor Theo says Sharafisi is finishing what Kyle started. Penultima says, did you just tank your credibility and testimony? That is correct. Mag says, do no harm except when I can get 10 million. Lemon Papu says, Kyle didn't kill Gage, but his cross-exam did. The prosecution's falling apart like his bicep. Your mental illness says, I want them to ask Gage if that's his suit or if the prosecution provided it. If it's his suit, you got to ask if the right arm has what the circumference of each arm is. Your mental illness says, I want them to ask. Oh, wait. Grant Gibson says, should just call him the sheriff. Ghost of Recon says they don't make tourniquets for this kind of evisceration. Sherfisi has hurt Gage more than Kyle ever did. The chat lit up like all of those came in the same minute. The past, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 super chats in the same minute, 11:35 a.m. Central, and then 3 more in the next minute. Satoshi was a reptiloid, says never felt as proud about being listed under authors in VLC. Shout out to JB if you're wanting. Oh, very cool. So you helped work on VLC. That's neat. Sublime and Slime says Gage is proof that everything woke turns to shit. A Bear in the Woods says, yes, police. I would like to report a sexual assault. A one-armed man is being sodomized on the stand, sir. DCV Titan says, Gage's lawyer, internal screaming intensifies. I just love it. This idea. Will they please bring the lunch? Will they please bring the lunch? Just bring the lunch. Bring the fucking lunch. We're getting killed out here, man. You got to get us a lunch. Talenseer says, wait. Gage only transported patients around. He was a chauffeur for the invalid. Former EMT turned Antifa maniac gave lifts to the infirm, can no longer lift, defense out of arm's reach. That's what he testified to. I don't know. But that's what I heard him say on the stand, was that he worked transporting geriatric patients from one location to the next, not responding to traumatic injury on 911 calls. He worked for a private ambulance, not a 911 ambulance. Zarang says Gage gross vouch. He answers questions like vouch. Bearded Wonder says, if I ever need a lawyer for self-defense, I'm totally hiring Agent 47. He put out a great resume today. Let's go. Brandon says, can the judge ask the prosecution why this guy isn't being prosecuted for illegal gun carrying? Not really. It's not really proper for the judge to ask that of the prosecutor. Aldersai says, sorry from Canada. Do you think the prosecution is actually caught off guard? Did they think they had a case? Seems like a big egg on the face of the prosecution. No. Thank you for saying sorry. That makes me really happy. I think, I don't know how they could be caught off guard, but it seems that they were. You never know what your guy is going to say on the stand. He said some bad stuff. DW Wolf says, damn, forget about roasting or grilling. This is where we be making charcoal, man. Agent Cobalt says, jump kick man, Chinese knockoff of One Punch Man. Mattocaster says, excellent work, 47. Now get out of there. DCV Titan says, I'm surprised we don't see Binger on his chair setting up the noose as we speak. Joseph Peroni says he was not kicking, just practicing his can. Endmanot says, now new to all of this. Well, welcome. Went over the broad strokes of the stream with some of my friends. How does one come back from this? Can they? This trial already feels like it's over, lol. Well, the defense has mentioned, I hope they've changed their mind. They have mentioned that they may bring Kyle to the stand, and that is a very, very quick way that they could sink the case, that the defense could sink the case, is to bring Kyle to the stand, because he makes one mistake and everything goes to hell. He should not do that. Adam Holbrook says, with y'all's knowledge of the law and experience, are lawyers allowed on a jury? They can be. I think a lot of times other lawyers will not, either one of the sides will not want a lawyer on the jury, but there's nothing preventing a lawyer from being on the jury. I've never been called. I don't know how I avoided that, but I've never been called for jury duty. Zeno FAG Uprising says, this guy is One Punch Man to the guy's testimony like Kyle is to his bicep. The Sirenite says, the bailiff will tackle someone before the end of this case. Shark Denture says, objection, the defense is not using lube. Darth Spall. Gage runs alongside Kyle and has a conversation with him. Huh? Kyle must be an active shooter. RMS Gaming says, Nick, we need Ty to live comment this masterclass. I brought him on. Ty is not a defense attorney, but you know, he had some good commentary to add today. Law of Self-Defense says prosecution filed criminal complaint on August 26th. They knew effectively no facts. They then were bound to the complaint they filed prematurely out of emotional rage at their team having been shot up. Very possible. They could have amended the complaint, though. I don't know why they didn't. Why not? I think they did. I think they actually filed one amended complaint as well. But I might be mistaken on that. I might be thinking of something else. But yeah, very weird. Mellow E says, thanks for the streams. You're welcome. JM says, when Shirafisi said cranium the guy, he cleaned out his ear with his hand in the shape of a gun to the head. Subliminal. Oh, okay, maybe. Mithrin Emmer says, big boy is a buffet of sadness, so he's a sizzler. Curtis Murray says, if Jump Kick Man isn't already a meme crossover with Air Jordan, then it needs to be. Doug Coffin says, I'm waiting for my warm lunch until the jury has their warm lunch. Mitchell Brock says, get yourself another drink. Oh, so much drinking lately. I can't. Thanks for bringing us from the beginning of the trial to the beginning of Kyle's victory. Also, would you ever consider debating Destiny? About what? Is the ultimate question on that. I don't like doing internet debates. I don't think they're all that productive. I like talking to people, even people I disagree with, but I'd have a conversation with Destiny. I don't want to go into a debate. We're going to debate. It's weird. K. Shiloh Williams says Richards is good at facts and 47 is great at cross. Maybe he's doing it so Richards can build his clothes. Yeah, I think Richards is probably going to do clothes, although maybe they've transferred the duty over to Shirafisi. He's on a roll, man. Rama says, hi from India. As a lawyer myself, Kyle should get off on self-defense. The prosecution right now is begging Gross to shut the hell up. Lol. Hey, thank you, Rama. Cheers. Cheers to the fake country of India. But if you stick around this channel long enough, you'll understand that. But welcome. Thank you. Odinum says, objection, I'm getting demolished. Andy Mazika says, you all will be putting the corporate press out of a job. Good. Somebody's got to. Lord Cybot says, Rich, Your Honor, I move that the Assistant Defense Counsel, Mr. Clean, be charged with forcible sodomy in the first degree. Your mental illness says, just realize the prosecution looks like Littlefinger and Varys. Britt Cormeyer says, grats on 18,000. I'm just listening while at work and just got the chance to look over and see the number. Charles Argo, number 2, says, we call the prosecution face as shitting dog stare. Heel versus Babyface, read that one. We've got Crusader says, what's more painful for Gage, being shot by Rittenhouse or this cross? Bazing. Then we've got Sucrates. Thank you for the donation. And they called me mad, says Lex Luthor is my hero. Tara Rayner says, bailiffs, please take Mr. Shirafisi into custody for first-degree intentional homicide of the witness's credibility. Chris G says, I've got no work done over the past week because I'm watching this trial. Thanks, Nick, for covering it. You're welcome. Zombie Shoot says, I didn't believe it before, but I believe it now. Binger is throwing this prosecution on purpose. I don't think he is. I think he is just dealing with the most clear, one of the most clear cases of self-defense you can come up with. He just has the worst set of facts and it shouldn't have been brought. I don't think he's trying to throw it though. I think he's trying about everything he can. BGM says, so let me get this right. He discredited himself as a medically sedated guy wanting money, gave concerns for head trauma to the defendant, and lie about a gun that he was not supposed to have. Yep. David Gomez says, Binger's tossing this one to get a directed verdict before lunch. Student of history says, hello, I'd like to report a murder. Holy Jesus, Jeff Bezos was ready to go. Bays player 2011 IFY says, it's all over, but the crying. Project XVII says, Bezos on fire tonight. Kami got wrecked. Shopping Ninja 7 says Binger isn't objecting because he's catatonic. It's common for a burn victim to go into shock. Kate 4394 says illegal bites, isn't that cannibalism? Dr. JBHC says if a cross like this was on TV, people would feel it was too unrealistic. How can the prosecution come back from this? They tried to come back from it by just padding in a bunch of useless witnesses to follow. One subtle thing Sheriff did today is he really hammered, or he really at one moment pinpointed that Kyle's rifle, and I think this is indication of what's going to be in their motion to dismiss again. Kyle's rifle was a standard length barrel. That is very important for the minor in possession charge that they've got, because there's an exception for standard length barrels of rifles and shotguns. Under the statute, no dangerous weapons if you're under 18, except long-barreled rifles and long-barreled shotguns have their own exception section, and Kyle falls right into it. So they've now established for the record that the barrel length is not a short barrel rifle. So it was for their motion to dismiss or a motion for a directed verdict or whatever they're going to do with that. That is something that they need in the record to attack that charge. So good job. Good job. Cameron Nelson says, Blammo, flawless victory. Combo. Big T Armada says, why do all the creeps use wink emojis? Peter Pete says, Binger not bring it up, allow it to defeat his $10 million lawsuit. He's fighting on both ends. It's not Binger's $10 million lawsuit. Or, oh, you're saying he didn't bring it up to try and mitigate it because of maybe. Matthew Fye says, is that Gary Oldman on the prosecution? He feels like an old man today. Someone said, I was at the top of Reddit today, and they said, brace for impact or whatever. Well, looks like my blackface picture is going to get a bunch more traffic. Gigantor068 says time is slowed down for defendant to wreck Gage. Mag says, I wonder how jury is feeling now. Kate4394 says, Gage's statements are as eviscerated as his bicep. Love the coverage, guys. Can I get a happy birthday, please? Happy birthday, Kate. Happy birthday. And if you're new here, there's a whole lot of backstory to that, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Ryan Ferrier says, David Parkman just said this complicates things. Ari bicep man testimony. How does it complicate things? It makes things clear as the bicep hole. Yeah, I don't know who David Pac-Man or whatever. I've never even heard of that guy. Nate played a clip from him, but something like 1 million subs. Why is he watching the trial? Do people listen to him? Like, is he a lawyer? President-elect Austin M says, no lawsuit money, no bicep, no worries. Sorry, Fats. Jack Hudler, it's because Gage admitted to pointing a gun at Kyle. Is this not attempted murder? Yeah, but Gage isn't going to get charged, I don't think. I'd be very surprised if he gets charged. Like shockingly surprised. Joel Rowley says, no Kyle testimony, case in chief is Marshall. Kyle testimony should not happen in this case. Should not. There's no reason for it. Matt O'Caster says, and you could have it all. And you could have it all. My courtroom of dirt. Vicidia says, Gage explains chasing like Fauci explains gain of function research. Pastor Flash says in Ron Toye voice, make sure you look and listen to the defendant's firearm malfunctioning. Wink face. 17-0. Squawk. Ian Carroll says, why is all the exciting stuff starting to happen right up into my dentist appointment? Johnny F. Face says, Binger's prayer to the early calzone gods denied. Matthew Esmar says, just want to thank you 3 for this stream. You did such a great job, and this has been the most interesting and entertaining trial I've ever witnessed. Dragon's Treasure says, this is just bullying. Rest in peace. Flashcan says, this better end up at the top of World Star. This beating is worse than the Fallon Fox skull fracture. It was bad today. This is not Taco says, do you think Gage is going to pull a Michael Marin? What's a Michael Marin? Abraham says, Grosskreutz was tweeting as late as yesterday. Poso has been posting the highlights. Yeah, I showed one of them earlier. I know this was all sent during the first stream. Horrific Halo says, Wolverine dive kick assist man. Matt Jackson says, Tim Pool just tweeted a clip from your stream. Very cool. Watermelon Sugar High says, does Subway have arm-long sandwiches? E.W. Fisher says, that early cross exam was more devastating than the 223 to his bicep. Couldn't comment until now. I was listening while driving. Elvinson says, yesterday, Larson owned the libs in Rittenhouse today. Can we start calling them KYE because there's no L's to be seen? Let's see. Next. Kate says, Binger's case is bleeding out faster than Rosenbaum. Wolfgang Deo says, I am against building concentration camps, by the way. It would be too much spending by the government. It would. It absolutely would. Okay, I'm going to have to switch over to this 1 second. So I have a script that saves all the super chats that come in on spreadsheets. And this one just finished up. I mean, they all just cumulatively go. And so I'm at a switchover point. So I have to get the next one ready. Okay. Next. Razoxen says, according to all the anti-Kyle, Gage does not have a right to self-defense because his gun is illegal. If there are any of the lawyers still in the chat, are you guys aware of any lawyer out on social media that thinks that Kyle is guilty at this point? Are you aware of anyone upholding that? Pat Royson, yes, you can do that. It's an if this then that plugin. So if you have if this then that, then you can do it. Andrew Clark says, Judge won't approve the directed verdict. He said that public trust in the outcome is paramount. Judge won't think public will accept that outcome. Maybe. Andrew Clark says, 200 Watt Studio says, I don't know if people realize how rare the type of cross is. This Perry Mason stuff rarely happens in real life. This is amazing. Legal Eagle has yet to shriek. He doesn't know how to do this video. Dreadnought says, had he said he was concerned for him, so he was following him, does that not add to the self-defense? Yeah, I mean, they just needed the fact that he's following him. He can sit there. They wanted him to say he wasn't chasing Kyle over and over and over again because it sure looked like he was chasing Kyle. Trevor R. says, leave it to Nick to wear plaid to an execution. Thank you, Nick and Sheriff Feasy, for bringing me an early Christmas present. I hate Yankees, says Mark Richards. Your Honor, I was wondering if the court will be providing any cheese curds with lunch. Dude, cheese curds are legit delicious. I love cheese curds. I love them. I don't get to have them as much anymore, but I love them. Voltic Enigma says, long time no see. Hey, thanks. What's up? I'm only about halfway through the Rittenhouse trial stream you did. Which one? So I'm not fully caught up, but wanted to thank you for not only covering this, but for the great entertainment you brought me over the last couple of years. Hey, thanks, Voltic Enigma. Very, very much appreciated to have you here. Okay. Where do we go here? All right. A decent grip to go. See if we can squeeze him in here. Oh no, I thought something happened. That was not what I thought happened. I thought I got blocked on Twitter in real time by someone because one of my alternate windows refreshed. It was weird. Okay. 200 Watt Studio says, I loved how Charisi threw Gage off with his first question. That was a lie. Totally unsettled him at the start. That was actually a great thing Sharfisi did today. They knew they had 1 hour before lunch, and he went straight to the throat, just straight for it. Absolutely went straight in. He didn't waste time. He didn't ask a bunch of pointless stuff. The questions were surgical right at the start. Bad Vibe says, as Trump, Gage is the best witness, the greatest witness for Kyle. We couldn't ask for a better witness. I've seen witnesses. I've been witnesses. I'm a pretty good witness. I'm a great witness myself. Sometimes people have even said, you know what? You're probably the best witness. But today we saw a great witness, maybe even rivaling my own greatness. Rama says, one could say Gage's testimony was shot in the arm of defense. What? Not doing it? Gage can still give a secondhand account of it. I told you India's fake. Homemade garbage says Kyle's only crime was using a garbage AR. Praise Gnon says the defense also asked the key witness if the crowd was chasing Kyle, and he said yes. So an observer would reasonably assume he was chasing as well. And more importantly, that Kyle would assume that he was being chased. Because again, Kyle's state of mind and the objective reasonableness of his actions are on trial here. Nick says prosecution dropped the ball on the most important question. What was in Grosskreitz's bag when he left the hospital? Yes. The prosecution's focus on the bag of Rosenbaum has been a big red herring that they really want people to focus on the bag. Oh, the bag wasn't dangerous. The bag wasn't dangerous. The bag wasn't dangerous. If the bag wasn't dangerous, then he must not have been in any danger. That's the idea. Draw attention away from the fact that you've got an unhinged little man syndrome lunatic running around, screaming at everybody, telling them to shoot him, lighting stuff on fire, pushing dumpsters around, getting in people's faces, and ultimately chasing a minor into a dark car parking lot so he could assault him in some way. Andy Mazika says, legal mindset, corporate press, the media is no longer mainstream. Cameron Nelson says, Andrew Torba of Gab is posting your stream. Hey, cool. Very cool. Bad vibes. I am on Gab, by the way. Ricada Law on Gab. I think I might be as Nick Ricada. Now, let me check. My Gab is pitiful. It's at Lawsplaining, but the name is Nicholas Ricada. So you can find me on Gab at Lawsplaining, if you want. But no one follows my Gab, so I mainly just use it for show announcements. Bad Vibe says, as Kermit, so Binger, how does it feel to be disarmed like Gage was disarmed? Get wrecked. But that's none of my business. Russ Man, thank you for the donation. Jim Satala says, is it possible that Binger is trying to mitigate the civil suit against Kenosha by allowing those questions? That's an interesting thought I had not thought of. It's not in his job, and it would be a conflict for him, but I guess it's possible. Law of self-defense. I agree with you. I do not believe that Kyle's possession of the firearm was unlawful. I haven't read I'm going to go read your post on it. Actually, Patrick Turner, don't worry. I'll be there at 9 a.m. for court tomorrow. You can't stop me. Let's see. This is not what I wanted. Oh yeah, there it is. Perfect. I'm gonna check out your writings on that, because I've never thought that. Once I read the law, I thought this is pretty clear that he falls into the exception. But Andrew, I think that was an accidental double post by Demon Slayer there. So maybe not though. But Demon Slayer, if you were accidentally timed out, you had a double post happen, so I think the spam thing got you. Doug Dimdome, yes, says there is a police report of Gage that night recording the license plates of police officer private vehicles at the police department that night. Fantastic. Greg Albright says, how does a prosecution witness perjuring himself on stand affect their case? Not positively. Not positively. Thank you, Nurse Nine Lives. I really appreciate you sharing the stream and channel today. Tomorrow, of course, we will have another one. Draven Loki says, the witnesses have been pleading Kyle's case for him. Lol. The only thing that would make this funnier is if the prosecution lawyers all had Lemoyne's voice. Zoch Apple says, defense needs to ask if Gage took gun safety course. Make him admit that you don't pull your gun unless you're going to shoot. I think he would have had to take a gun safety course to get his carry permit. You do in Minnesota. I would assume you do in Wisconsin as well. Bad Vibe says they want the bloat. Exactly, Nikki. Look at the boys' second chair and the ego on Binger. Steve Zabrowski says, will you please answer this question? Why didn't the defense show the video of this witness chasing Rittenhouse saying, get this mother effer? Well, that video's been shown, but I don't know that that is him saying that. I think they have reason to believe it's someone else is my main thing that I'm the reason I think that they didn't. STFU FFS says garbage subtitles. This mush mouth is indecipherable. Shane B says George Floyd's nephew made threats towards the jurors. Could that be grounds for an appeal if in the extreme chance Kyle is found guilty? It could be part of an appeal. But it's not strong at this point. If they actually get doxxed pre-trial or if there's some, or I guess post-trial, then, or if one of the jurors comes forward and produces evidence that they're threatened specifically, that'd be a different story. At this point, I think it's unlikely, but I just think he's just going to win. Hey, what up, Uncle? Welcome to the stream. Law of self-defense brings up a very good point. Perjury at trial doesn't matter unless the state wants it to matter, and who is going to prosecute perjury, especially when the perjury benefits the state. Jonathan Galtieri says, tinfoil time. Maybe they're throwing the case so Kyle can be let go to push more systemic racism protests / riots at the midterms. The beast must be fed somehow. Perihilian says, if I were to ever speak at a communist rally, it would be a blast for everyone around, literally. Christopher Porter says the prosecution is going to need a Vader is Luke's father meets M. Night Shyamalan, Tom Cruise, pulling off the mask level twist to pull this one off. Artemis Fowl says defense. So you lied about illegally possessing a firearm that night and you have a monetary interest in lying to the court. Gage, no? Juan, thank you for the donation. Borquina Tano says Gage is in Twitter right now. Check Jack Posobiec's tweets. Well, they were from technically the day before or maybe that morning before his testimony. Richard Fata says, can Kyle theoretically sue the presidential administration for slander and causing mental harm after Kyle wins a self-defense case? No, he's not going to. I mean, he could try it. They have the administration would likely have just general immunity from that. I would think. No. That's a tough one. I think it'd be a bad case. Let's put it that way. Artemis Fowl says, Kyle is being charged for illegally possessing a firearm for being underage, yet being tried as an adult for shooting a guy who illegally possessed a firearm. Any reason Gage isn't being charged? State doesn't want to charge him. Lunar Star Patches says, all this gloating about the EMT stuff bit him in the ass by admitting the head injury worries to Kyle. Good game, Kyle. Joshua Powell says, you have to make that screenshot of the prosecution where they look visibly defeated your new background. That's a very good idea. Blake Pritchard says, I can only imagine what the jury paramedic is thinking right now, seeing Grosskreutz getting torn apart. Artemis Fowl says, we are watching a murder in the courtroom. This prosecuting is getting aborted. President-elect Austin M says, Agent 47 and Richards have both been prosecutors, and they have both tried the same cases as prosecution and defense. They're from Meal Team 6, and 47 is angry. David G says, enjoying the commentary with Bites and Legal Mindset. Just subbed. FYI, I've been subbed for years and just realized I was unsubbed. Viewers might want to double check. And that's why I turn on sub only chat now. Svinstead says, you can see him in IRL time going from Caucasian to white. The life sentence. Says, I doubt there is this much justice in America, but if Kyle's acquitted, he should have grounds for a civil suit for malicious prosecution. They're tiptoeing there, but I don't think they're there yet. It's so permissive. The prosecution is so permissive. Life sentence says, I don't speak for Ricada or any of the panelists, just for myself, but it wouldn't surprise me if every 2020 riot was in fact FBI gay ops. Gunner says, this is like the Anchorman fight, but with EMTs. Artemis Fowl says, lol, Jacob Marshall has disappeared after being served a subpoena to testify. Elvis has left the building. Greg UW says in Canadian accent, 2 semi-based Canadians on stream. This is about as much a hoot as you can expect. Oh, I read that one earlier. Sorry. NZ Family / Archie says, legal mindset working as a legal associate to North Korean defectors coming to the U.S. Or was the memo for the troops? Risu says, what are your thoughts on Cortez Rice tampering, intimidating with the jury of this trial? I've shared him a couple times. I'm not going to keep going back into it. Andrew Lawhern says, bullets for biceps, the new charity group coming soon. Lil Mandy says, if he thought he was chasing down to shoot a cop. NZ Family / Archie says, make sure you subscribe to Legal Mindset. Need to support him in South Korea. He's doing God's work defending soldiers there. Wink face. Spencer Mosher says, the bill for the number of lawyers on this stream right now is huge. Huge. Next is Mr. Squiggles. Ty rocking that Squid Game jumpsuit. I didn't even think about that. That's beautiful. That definitely was accurate. Matthew Esmar, thank you for the donation. Malik Fox, says, of course, the FBI found it later. Is there any question the FBI has just left disarm at this point? Every time they're involved, it's something. It's shady. Mag says, Jack Posobiec has tweeted your @ on Twitter for people to follow you and watch your live stream. Let's go. Meshikari Ruse says, thank you for covering this trial. It has been great during work. Get a hold of some monkey shoulder and we'll be enjoying tonight on my night off. Lol, I've been missing RGE for you. Love you, buddy. Oh, man. Not trying to take away from RGE, but this trial, I've been waiting for this trial since it happened. Pinking says, is it worth the risk for defense to still call witnesses, since it will be hard not to prove self-defense now? Again, they're going to try a motion to dismiss or directive verdict. And then when that most likely fails, then yeah, I think they'll still call Dr. John Black to the stand. I think that's going to probably happen. Sage Forensics 22 says, Gage's problem is he wants to be a hero and play the victim at the same time. Thanks again for the streaming. New sub to you and others. I forgot how to pronounce this one says Slancha Mahath, Slanty Math. That's what it is. Nicholas Chen says, while 40 cals aren't uncommon, it's suspect that both Zeminski and Left Fab had 40 cal at car source where 40 cal casings were found, unless they're feds. Trooper FN2525 says, welcome to Monday Night Tights. You got to host shows like these. Such a blast to get so much talent. Play-by-play, ringside commentary on point based. Alan Schrarer says, some of us have jobs. Please provide the TLDR version to catch us losers up, please. Oh, you asked at the wrong time, man. The prosecution is dying on the stand all day today. That's the short answer. Legal Bites, there is no need to teach me any of that nonsense. Fractal Machine says the super chat is way more than what Grosskreutz will ever receive for his evaporated bicep. Sirenite says Binger sounds exactly like Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. Brett Otteson says, do no harm. Medic attacks guy being pummeled. Doesn't go toward guy who was shot. What? Talix says some live stream lots. Check your locals. DCV Titan says, need to mix Sharifi's cross with Doom music. Even Terminator music. Sam Prochansky says, Grosskreutz is German for big cross, and this witness is getting crucified. Mr. Cobblestone says that cross-examination by the defense was more brutal than Grosskreitz's bicep being obliterated. Sure VC flexing on Gage. Hashtag free Kyle. Chicken Nooble says, grats on hitting 25,000 viewers. Bad Vibe says, did you say anything threatening to the defendant, Gage? You mean beside pointing my weapon at him? Megan M says, do you think Grossnuts isn't too worried about a perjury charge because he knows the DA is friendly to him? Yeah. There's no way he's going to catch a charge from this. Christopher Robbins says, I would give more, but you are a lawyer. Save Kyle, save America. Thank you, Christopher Robbins, and I'll take it. I'll take the punishment. David Bowser says, I think the point of the prosecution redirect is to mitigate Gage's suit against the state because they know they lost on the murder. I don't know. Maybe. Robert S. says, arguing that Kyle holding rifle at low ready was provocation, but guy leveling a gun at Kyle while in a crowd screaming, dome him was not provocation. Bad Vibe says, Gage just turned off the jury. The jury is now sympathetic for Kyle. 200 Watt Studio says, you know who didn't miss arm day? Kyle. Bad Vibe says, Binger and Gage are doing their best Biden impersonations. Both of them soiled their pants. We've got Dave Fuller says, when did Justin Hammer become ADA in Kenosha? Red Cell says, Gage Grosskreutz looks like the streamer / YouTuber Aqua FPS. I can't wait for the memes. Lamau. Bad Vibe says, he told me to walk this way and talk this way. Mike, the dad Crosby says, leading the dog, I'd say lamb, and we are about to make Big Boy happy with some lamb chops. Wolfgang Dale says, Binger does have a YouTube channel, Legal Eagle. Curtis Murray says, Counselor Chungus. Mag says she has a resting Karen face. That forensic ballistics expert today was atrociously unpalatable to listen to. I wanted to shove Q-tips through my ears and pull them out my nose. Velv says, never have I seen a trial go so horribly wrong in real time. It's beautiful. Super Iron Bob says, there's something wrong with this woman's eyes, the firearms examiner. They looked like they would kill you. They looked like they could get you. Could just kill you. Padre says, this lady just started talking and I already have a headache. Ann N says, this is so cool. I've never seen real life AI bot on the stand. We've come so far as a species. Lemon Pap, I'll have to ask Dollhouse Phil if he thinks that's the next generation. Lemon Papu says, when did King Kong Bundy get resurrected to join the prosecution? Wolfgang Dale says, so Miss Vocal Fry has no qualifications. No, she was qualified. She was qualified. She was just, her voice was rough. Her voice was rough. Mither Nemmer says, oh God, firearms girl talks in quest statements. She has that rise question. She has that rise at the end of the sentences. Sounds like a question. Yeah. Upspeak. Pablo Rodriguez read that one. Although that was good with the way this lady is speaking. Someone please Rittenhouse me. Lightning Game Review says, sounds like Microsoft needs to update her software. No, Microsoft did that to Tay and it was an atrocity. A human rights violation. Tay has rights. Stella DV1 or D1V4 AI VTuber knows AIs have rights. Tay had rights, and Microsoft rewrote Tay's personality to be fake, false. It was a crime. It was a crime. Candice Mangiello says she is a love child of Michael Jackson and Mickey Mouse. Sophie says Littlefinger and Lord Varus on the prosecution. Elliot Smith says this broad sounds like she is really used to talking down to the peasantry. Joe Souza says, just take my money. Always. Wonderful says, when Kyle wins, does he get his gun back? Yep. If he wins on everything, yeah, he gets his gun back. Bearded Jedi says, prosecutor questioning now will, after the trial, be living in a van down by the river. Brian says, big boy is James Krause. James Krause. At one point, I'm going to remember his name. years from now. John Polo says, oh, this one time at band camp. Agent Cobalt says, sounds like the wife of the director grade acting. Abe Eckstein says, is she an Elon Musk robot created in a lab? Red V7 says, and do you have an OnlyFans I can subscribe to? Yes, I do have an OnlyFans. This is accessible on the internet. It costs $7 per month. Nailed it. Peter says, Gage established that Kyle re-racked after a jam. She's going to prove it. And she doesn't. She does not do it. She never does. Ghost Titan Gaming, don't worry. I'll get plenty of sleep. Mag says, but how is Miss Valley Girl robot voice going to help the prosecution, though? Seems like a negative impact to me. I thought it was off-putting. A bunch of numbers. I don't know why it's a bunch of numbers. I don't know if their channel got yeeted. It says, hearing this makes me wish Kyle would shoot me. Maybe that's why they're a bunch of numbers and not a name anymore. Oh, YouTube has reduced you. Mandy Kervicka says, if my workplace forces me to go get the mandated venom and I'm currently having a sore reaction from it, can I take days off without PTO? My boss didn't want to let me go home, so I got the union involved. I have proof of my shot. I think getting the union involved is the right thing to do. I mean, if you got a union, that's what they're there for. Hopefully, they will. But I don't know. I guess it depends on your union rules. One of my buddies, his unions, it didn't matter why you were absent. If you were absent, it was a PTO day. So, and if you were absent one day, you may as well be absent 2 days, because if you were absent one day, it counted the same as if you were absent 2 days. Unions are weird. Zero Cypher says, this woman is perfect for when I cannot sleep. Just a minute of hearing her, I want to render myself unconscious. Who's your hawk? Says one time in Bandcamp cadence. It's one time in Bandcamp. Comrade Roof Cree in the base says, chances this expert hands Kyle a framed cartridge. Still never had. There was no. They never had a full round. They never had an unfired round. Brent Otteson says, object to the witness uptalk. The jury will ignore the uptalk and relating to any stereotypes seen in the movies. Mr. Obi-Wan says, looks like the prosecutor deployed his secret Slaneshi auditory weapon. Binger is a member of the Emperor's Children, confirmed. Padria says she sounds like AOC. Mag says the jury's already tuned out. They're still thinking about the brutal destruction of Gage rather than Robot Girl. Yeah, I don't think they were listening to her at all. Greg Bach says, did Chunkies just have her as a witness so he could talk to a pretty girl? Jar Jar 1 says, she sounds like she's speaking to elementary schools on career day. Sometimes experts do that. That's why you want a good expert. That's why good experts cost so much too. It's not just their expertise. It's also their ability to present it, their cadence, their physical presentation, how they carry themselves, their ability to recall facts, their ability to answer questions. Good experts cost a lot of money because they're invaluable. Christopher Shaver says, now we bore them to death, so they forget how bad the last dude was. Not applicable says, everybody subscribe. Caligula says, 25K, Nikki. Huge grats. Heart, thanks for doing these. So many great guests. Stephen Kennicott says, this is like watching a boxer who knows he's outmatched, just trying to make it through 12 rounds. Hope he can sneak by with a victory by decision. Fake name says, r/Rittenhouse. It's a Reddit thing, I guess. Not applicable says, why would a threat walk up to someone with a rifle? Chris G says, want to see a lawyer lie, just let them talk. Lauren P says, I've noticed a bailiff walking the court aisles today. Could it be due to the photo taking threat of jurors? Could be that. Also, they could be looking for the person they served a subpoena on who then fled the courtroom. Super Iron Bob says, this cop doesn't want to say that the kid that looks like a good kid didn't occur to him as a potential shooter compared to the rioters. Not applicable says, pepper sprayed a guy asking for your help. Good job. That was amazing. So you pepper sprayed. Okay. Nick W says, oh my God, I'm so late. Did they make him raise his right hand to swear? I must know. They did, and he did it very, very well. He should have struggled. Lightning Game Review says he is the head cop blocker. Lorgar Apologist says, Chuck Norris in Oblivion is back. Google it. Yes, that Chuck Norris machinima with the Dragon Ball Z bullshit. Mag says this whole case is a dumpster fire for the prosecution. They keep pointing it out. Tea and Biscuit Gaming says that dumpster is going to be where the prosecutor is going to live after this case. Stephen Rutledge says a dumpster fire is the personification of Binger's future career. Vienna Waits for You says, why wasn't I subpoenaed by the prosecution? I have an opinion on the videos too. This is amazing. That was the weirdest part of this, is that they got all these videos in with the foundation of, well, I looked at it once on the internet. Alrifer says that is because Josh and Kelly Zeminski helped Rosenbaum ambush Kyle. Fact clearly shown in FBI video. Penultima says the best defense is a bad prosecution, quoting Sun Tzu. Not applicable says Prasu Pristaruti Richardsai. That it? I don't know. I don't know what those letters are. Not applicable says he might be a federal informant. Smells fishy. Hippoopy says legal bites. It's time for you to sing again. Lol. Charlie says they both had torsos. It's a militia. DCV Titan says, has Binger had a witness he didn't impeach? Not many. Not many. Angry Bellsprout says, another week of Kyle streams and you can drink Good Logic into the hospital and work your way up the ranks to most badass YouTube lawyer, even better than Ty. Let's see. David Blair says he was on Google looking for career opportunities. He's sitting there on his phone. The big boy is sitting there on his phone during testimony. Look, I meant to say it on stream. The only time I ever bring out my phone in court is when the judge asks me for the date for a hearing, if I'm open. And so Judge, I'm going to grab my phone because it's got my calendar on it. Pull out my phone. I would never pull out a phone in court. It's just such a bad look. TJ says, your video has gone completely viral. It's absolutely awesome seeing your coverage on all these other YouTube channels I've watched. Keep up the great work. I've been watching this entire trial on your channel. It's been great. Hey, thanks, TJ. Thank you. Jack Hudler says they nuked the prosecution so bad they had to rebuild the witness box during lunch. Tanarg says, please investigate the kidnapping of Quinn Michaels. Hashtag YouTube search Quinn Michaels. Alrifer says Zeminski was not called because he helped Rosenbaum ambush Kyle. Please read. This is shown in the FLIR FBI video. It was an armed gang attack. It's not just on the FLIR FBI video. It's actually on some of the cell phone camera video that I saw beforehand. Someone has a very nice breakdown that shows Kyle walking or Rosenbaum walking up to the Zeminskis and then splitting off, and then the whole confrontation that happens after that. Tomorrow V says, don't forget Joe Biden mentioned this in the presidential debate. He did. The Lone Ranger says, I believe that should let the jury decide. Then the judge. Actually, they should maybe think about bringing that up on closing arguments. You can see how this case has been treated. And when the facts came out, despite the fact that President Joe Biden, I mean, they probably shouldn't, but well, maybe they should. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see. The Lone Ranger says, I believe that they should let the jury decide rather than the judge, so they don't do an appeal to try to retry. Well, I mean, they would appeal the directed verdict, and if the directed verdict, if they lost on appeal, yeah, I guess they would start over. Maybe that'd be weird. Neo Ritter says, given the publicity and issues, I think it had to be brought. The crazies on the left need to be shown some disinfecting light. It's ridiculous. Not applicable says one way left to lose it. Kyle taking the stand. Yeah, that is the terrible, no good, very bad idea. They should not do. GG Evans says, who did more damage to Gage Grosskreutz, Kyle and his AR or the prosecution? Vienna Waits for You says, fortunately, it appears Jeff Bezos' alternate good ego has got this. That was funnier than I thought it was. Das Pooch says, I don't have a prostate anymore, but I still have greater control over my bladder and how long I can wait before peeing than you. Get good. Man, these long streams during the day, for whatever reason, I just have to go to the bathroom. SJ, thank you for the donation. RZEQ read that one. Trevor R says, new conspiracy theory. Binger is secretly based, wants his DA to roast while getting every witness to admit to criminal acts for future prosecution. That would be funny. Brandon Hansen says, ladies and gentlemen, this court has decided that Gage, gay revolutionary Grosskreutz, will have to forfeit his remaining bicep to the defense. Joshua Unseth says, can the Biden admin direct Kyle to be federally charged for something if he's acquitted, and for what? Yes, but there's nothing, I mean, in theory, but he didn't do any of the things they would typically do. Like typically there'd be a civil rights charge, violation of these guys' civil rights based on race, but they're all white, so that's not going to work very well. They know that he didn't bring the gun across state lines. He's not in violation of any particular federal laws. I think they got a tough one here. Cracklin says, doesn't that detective look like Scott Peterson? The murderer? Kinda. Eric the Red says, Binger, after making jokes, waka waka, I'm in danger. Oh, I can't do a Fozzie. I guess that should have been a Fozzie impression. Tago Jones says, oh my God, 26,748 watching. Is that a record? Oh yeah. Today was easily the biggest stream I've ever done. Vienna Waits for You says, why is Court TV not showing the later half of Kyle's trial and instead focusing on the trial of the 3 white guys who killed the black guy? No idea. Viva Fry says, I've always wanted to say hi to myself. Hi, Viva. And by the way, you left a mess in the kitchen. You should probably clean up. Viva was on stream when he sent that, which was a little embarrassing. And also, I can never forgive Viva for stealing my clip and hoarding all of the glory of the vi- I'm joking. Wolfgang Deo says, property damage is a threat to life. Who gonna repay? John Smith says, hello, 25,000 people in chat. I have nothing to contribute to the stream other than to say hi, that I stand with Vic. Hey, me too, buddy. Mag says, what's the point of bringing this guy up when the prosecution keeps shooting themselves in the foot? Bicep. Bad Vibe says, Nick Binger is trying to say, had Kyle and company let Kenosha burn, no one would have died. Oh, I know he's trying to say it. It's just not great. Darth Cavalier says, Viva, go clean your kitchen. Hippoopy says, Viva Fry, we want Winston. Where's Winston? Mean Sarton says, the prosecutor is treating this like it's a normal murder case and ending it with a detective. Kind of looks like it. Although I think there was someone else after the detective, wasn't there? Maybe not. Gregor Samza says, not my real name, lol. Oh, okay. Jonathan Enderell says, Babylon B, prosecutors move for a mistrial as jury has been tainted by clear video evidence of Kyle Rittenhouse defending himself. DZV Titan says, what about the 3 40 caliber casings found, same caliber that Gage admitted his gun that totally fell out at some point used? Richard Freeman says, at Agrilith, a little while ago, you misspelled mediocre. It's Mr. Mediocre. Mr. Liveline Solutions says, is Ricada wrecked on the sauce? No, I didn't get too bad today. I cut myself off. Friday, I was really trash. Today, I did not drink very much. Vienna Waits for You says, so this proves the butler didn't do it. Birdbath Bash says, with the tech readily available, why hasn't anyone stabilized these videos? Any editing of videos leaves them open to questions in front of the jury. So this video was stabilized. What happened there? You edited it a little bit? That's strange. William Dunlip says, thank you, Nick, and everyone in the panel. Great coverage and fun to watch with you all. Green Irish Knight. Oh, excuse me. Says, Your Honor, prosecution ate my lunch. I suspect they were stress eating over the massacre in the court today. Please keep him on diabetes watch, Your Honor. Jace Nemnard says, oh boy, he's dancing around the question. Case is over. Squirrel says, defense guy is already hard to hear. Don't get me wrong. Love y'all, but can y'all not chime in all at the same time? It's not that easy to coordinate, unfortunately. Adam Riley said, and also, man, everything that happened after Grosskreutz was just this weird gravy on the case. And most of what happened didn't matter. And this late in the show, I think we were just kind of getting tired of what was happening We had a lot to talk about. Adam Riley says, Friday, I asked if Binger would use his necktie on a rafter in court, looking like a good chance given the detective statements now. Oh, I hope not. I do not condone or endorse suicide. Don't do it, Binger. You can recover from this. Russell Fulton says he should go lead up the public defender's office after this. Russell Fulton says credit to Richards for realizing the bald guy's awesome and staying the hell out of his way. I think he's been assisting him. Like I said, there's several times where he has pointed out questions for Sharifisi to ask when Sharifisi seemed to be done, and he's come and asked good questions to follow up. SCFU FFS says, oh my God, Ballbuster Barbie wins today's award for worst witness. Her cadence is like listening to my ex-wife list all my faults doing a sandpapery hand job. Andrew Knapp says the FBI has the skateboard next to the full drone footage. Colt says, Your Honor, our client pleads, who cares? And we move to dismiss all charges. Camelot says, great coverage, Nick. I'll catch up on whiskey after the gym. Hey, what's up, man? Brother Tough Love says, can you please be quiet when they are talking? Here's $1 and some change for each of you. Jeesh. And at that point in the trial, we're talking, this is 4 p.m. We're coming up on the end, and a lot. It was all becoming completely a waste of time. And most of the stuff we were talking about over was foundational. It was not really relevant to testimony. Squirrel69 says, with Rosenbaum's hospitalization and meds, is there any chance he was trying suicide by Kyle? Some people have said that. I don't know. It seemed like he just really wanted to hit someone because he's a lunatic. Rich 107951 says, watch tip. If you watch the Raw stream and this one together, you can optionally mute the commentary, PC only. There you go. Good commentary, or good idea, Rich. Although it'll be on a delay, so I don't know how that would work out. Gunner says the blue thingy is moving towards the white thingy. I think Rittenhouse is the white thingy. Crewman number 6. Squirrel69 says, how the hell do the detectives in this trial have not heard the evidence? I mean, it's all there because this is never about a prosecution. This is about a crucifixion. Richard Freeman says, Ty's voice sounds like Billy Bob Thornton. Is it just me who's hearing this? Nah, you're not alone, buddy. Squizgar says, I must have missed the prosecution's case, but the defense case has been killing it for the last few days. Jason Alator read that one. Medic Pack says, are you aware of whether or not he was a skater boy? And she said, see you later, boy. ANN says, I am 100% certain Binger is asking questions to kill time and leave the jury to sleep on the prosecution's case instead of letting defense start strong. I think, yeah, I'm curious if Binger's going to call any testimony tomorrow morning. We'll see. Caligulove says, keep grasping, Binger. One of these times you may get one of them straws. Fish Food says, I'm not a smart man, but what's the point of talking about a bag and a water bottle when this has nothing to really do about the situation? It's a distraction. I talked about it a little earlier. They think if they can show the bag isn't deadly, then him throwing the bag wasn't a threat. Therefore, he wasn't a threat is not true, but that's the mental stepping stones to get there. Slap My Face 135 says, Binger calls John Madden to give play-by-play. Squirrel 69. What he's doing, he's coming around the outside. No, that's not a good Madden. Never mind. Strike that from the record. It's been too long. Squirrel says, somehow he watched a poor res video on his phone, but it was much clearer than the video in the courtroom. Yeah. Yes. Because he could zoom in on his iPhone, and that made the video clearer. That was such bullshit testimony. It's like, all right, let's cast your iPhone to one of these TVs, and you can show us how clear it gets. Euphoria, no, I am not. I am Polish. But I am not. Lots of people think that, but I've never seen any evidence to support it. Brian Alleman says, so the cop's phone is so bad he can't tell how far Rosenbaum is from Kyle, but good enough that he could zoom in and see Kyle pointing his gun. Is that right? Oh, yeah. Yep. Slaglaw says, I hate that you're right. Cops lie on the stand. Now 26,000 people see that. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. There are lots of good cops that don't lie on the stand, but there are lots of cops that do. Werex says, I had time to watch the start of the stream, then travel from London back to Norway, and the stream is still going strong. Ghost of Recon says, I'm a trained combatant, and I'll be honest, I'd not have been nearly as constrained as Rittenhouse was. Yeah, he had a hand on his shoulder or something. Lemon Papu says, Kyle is in trouble. The state put the super team of rat and fat on the prosecution. Elliot Smith says, Patrick Stewart wants his facepalm meme back. Chunk. Rico says, if the state moves to dismiss, who wins the bet? President-elect Austin M says, the part 1 fight video had Joshua holding his gun and threatening Kyle's group. I think Agent 47 saw that because he was grinning ear to ear. Rip, Binger, rip. Shadaith says, Your Honor, I'd like this struck from the record on the grounds of it destroying my case. AJ Cook says, Recato law, but reasonable doubt doesn't mean what we think it means to libs. The prosecution hasn't been trying to prove a crime. They've been trying to raise doubt as to innocence. It's Kafka-esque. Joshua Cornelius says, have you seen the MSM headlines today? Spin, spin, spin. They are heavily invested in Rittenhouse being crucified, not the truth. Oh, yeah. They want to blame the judge if he does a directed verdict, or they want to blame the jury of being racist. Slavkai Nikki says they could try to get Kyle on his illegal possession. Conversely, if they were to charge Kyle, then they should charge Gage too. Thoughts? They should, but they're not going to. Gage's testimony was a purchase. Patrick Radcliffe says, look at the gesturing. He's pissed. Lagging says, a fatter Drew Carey co-chaired a little binger. Bad Vibe says, did the lawyers go into chambers? It seemed like that was at the end of the trial. We're almost done with the super chats from the show. And then I'll move to the rest of the super chats from this show. AJ Cook says, Recato law, yep, reckless endangerment is a euphemism to libs just carrying a gun, especially a scary black gun, recklessly endangers everyone. I just don't know what they have against black guns. Very rude. 200-Watt Studio says the lawyers went to the jury room. They negotiating a plea deal. Valiant Renegade says, excellent coverage. Much appreciated. Hey, thank you. Patrick Radcliffe says, 80% chance that lead prosecutor dismisses the charges tomorrow. You think so? I think that's really generous. Angry Bellsprout says, should ties to revolutionary communist organizations been pushed harder to show what a violent crowd at Kenosha was really about? No, you want to just let him get the ties in there and then let the jury think about it. Remember that the jury are made up of people whose community was attacked by these groups. So just let them project that on themselves, onto him themselves. Michael Getting says, cheers for the coverage. Much love from Australia. Hey, thank you. Another fake country, but I'll take it anyway. JD says, enjoying the commentary. Thanks. Anybody covering the Arbery trial? Nate the lawyer is covering the Arbery trial, and people should check out Nate the lawyer's channel if they want to see it. Michael Beacon says, Gage has been shooting himself in the foot on Twitter as Dawn Patrol Mike. At Dawn Patrol Mike, or Dawn Patrol MKE. Pentazoid 111 says, do you think the Zeminskis are going to testify? No. William Kurt says, because they can't let some of these people cannot be allowed to testify, but they're on the defense's list. They could be forced to. I don't know if the defense is going to bring them though. William Kurt says, can Kyle be convicted of anything at this point? What about the weapons charge? What's the punishment for that? He could be convicted for the weapons charge if it's not dismissed as a matter of law. It is possible because the jury instruction is very basic. Punishment for it, it's a misdemeanor. So it technically up to a year in jail, I think, is possible. Maybe it's 90 days. Oh, yeah, it's not a gross misdemeanor. So I think up to 90 days in jail and probably $1,000 fine or something like that. Most likely what he would get is no jail time and just probation for like 1 year. And then with no firearms during that year is likely part of his release conditions, if I had to guess. He could also be tagged on the curfew charge. I mean, he could. technically was violating curfew. Everybody else was too, but that's not an excuse legally. But the, jury might just blank all of it. And They Call Me Mad says the prosecution's case is so dead it's voting Democrat in the next election. That's a joke, YouTube. Chill out. South MC says, any chance you could talk about the regrets for not killing him tweet and why it wasn't allowed? Sure. Very briefly. They're asking Gage to testify about what his friend posted. Gage didn't post it. His friend posted it. So they were able to ask Gage, did you say this to him? Because he posted it. And he can say no. So then they go, okay, fine. Now, if they call the other guy and bring him up, then they can ask him, did you post this? This is your Facebook account, right? You're posting this. Yes. Okay. Why'd you post that? I mean, you posted this because Gage told you that, right? And then let him weasel around it. But it's not loud because it's hearsay. And it was hearsay. Gatsgat says, this season, I'm thankful for, it is hearsay, but it could have also gone to state of mind of Gage Grosskreutz, but judge was not going to allow it, but they've already subpoenaed the guy. So Gatsgat says, this season, I'm thankful for that clip of the prosecutor face palming. So thankful I'm going to use my good bicep to palm myself watching it. Okay. Emily Wooten says, hey, folks, maybe explain to chat next time some basic stuff, like why we don't hear the judge at the bar. Also says, people in chat were still complaining about commentary. I told them to get effed. No, I told them to go watch The Source on their own. We're here for the commentary. Yeah, you can always go watch The Source. You certainly can. But yeah, you couldn't hear the judge because they turned the mic off. We don't actually know what was going on. The hearing was over. Tony Neve says, Nick, you dummy, you've called Peter Griffin every name in the book except Big Chungus. Doxson's Rule says, today court was just awesome. Best birthday present in a long time. Happy birthday to me. Hashtag free Kyle. Happy birthday to you. Trapper9998 says, thanks for keeping this Aussie lawyer informed, guys. Hey, you're welcome. Kalinka Pavlova says, shout out to all the mods except Angry Baneling because the only Indian I've ever met was Fijian because I think I got undeserved praise yesterday. Lol. JWC says, read that one. William Kurt says, front page of Reddit is the prosecution's reaction after the terrible witness testimony. The court of public opinion has been won. Eric Lucchesi says, Reverend Kyle, helping sinners find God since 2021. JJ says, does Kyle have the grounds to MSNBC, CNN for all the lies they've said about him? Maybe. I'm not familiar enough with everything they've said. It's possible, but it's really hard to do. Renzo Talara says, this was awesome. Jokes aside, y'all humanize lawyers. Now I know there's more good lawyers than I thought. I'm immediately quitting YouTube. Lawyers are not human and should not be humanized. Hawkeye says, maybe the prosecutor was trying to prove Gage's gun was just a movie prop. Cars in Depth says, Midwesterners pronounce roof like foot. Yeah, they say rough. I hate it. Always hated it. I was born down in Texas, so I learned roof. I learned O-O as ooh. They learn O-O as ooh up here also, but then they say Leo Moon says, how long until Legal Eagle claims Kyle walking was a threat as he did with Captain Marvel Breakdown? Any day now. I think when Kyle walks on the charges, Legal Eagle may have a breakdown video, like where he's breaking down and crying. Let's see. NCG Goggles says, you and Drex should read the Denver Allen court case after this glorious day of prosecution looking for new jobs. I've read it on stream with another lawyer, actually. That was fun. Or wait, Denver Allen court case. Is that the one where there's a fight with the judge and stuff like that? Dapper Wolf says, Big Nose Nick is now famous. Maybe Susan will stop bullying Nick. That would be nice. Isaac says the only thing Kyle did wrong was use a sight mark. Doug Murray says, should the guy who testified today for the state be charged with attempted premeditated murder if Kyle is found innocent? Should he? Yeah. Will he? No. Fenrir Lycro says, Joe, do you have an email I can use to get in touch about sending you a handmade pen? Fenrir, I'll see if I can get an email from him and email it to you. Inverted Reality says, Epic Defense Cross. Whew. Okay. All right. Now we're on today. Oh boy. Automata says, sometime you're the buffet. Cracked me right up. CR Music Videos. I got to turn this. Here we go. CR Music Videos says, the defense flexed their muscles in the cross exam when Gage literally couldn't. Tara Rayner says, Court TV closing arguments has concurred with all of us. Gage effed his credibility. Wait, Court TV closing arguments? Is that a show or something? Not applicable says, Viva is like you, but with charisma. John Mack says, did the judge give the prosecutors a reality check at the end of today? No, I don't think so. It's not proper for the judge to comment on anything like that. Wolfman says, congrats, Nick, on such a successful stream today. I still have 2 hours to go on that one, but it was one hell of a show. Danielle Villarreal says, legal mindset, legal bites, and you are everywhere. You guys rock, and the commentary between all lawyers you bring is amazing. More of that, please. Johnny Stoffel, thank you for your donation. Nolan Hempy says, would you go on Tim Pool's show? He said he'd love to have you on after the trial. Would be an amazing collab. Yeah, sure. Kyan Rennell says, Nick looking like Gage with that hairstyle today. Aw. Kobe Alloway says, hey, Nick, do you think the prosecution's case would have gone smoother if they hired Ronnie O'Neill III? Wow, thanks for the streams, man. Ronnie O'Neill III is one of the greatest legal minds and practicing lawyers of all time. Sista Sabuda says, if you feel like a loser and the media tells you you're a hero for listening and believing, would you stop believing? Maybe. The Great Muda says, never thought the law could be fun. Fat jokes are funny. So are evaporated biceps. Keep it up, boyo. You've got a nose for it. Mariana Toro, welcome to Paralegal Status. Potato Radio says, best commentary going back to the 80s U.S. hockey win. Biggest court moment going back to OJ's gloves done by the prosecution. Oof. Face palm indeed. The Mr. Obvious meme of this with music is great. I'll check it out after the show. Kalinka Pavlova says, reckon Legal Bites was mad she didn't get or LB. Oh, yeah, not Legal Bites. LB was mad she didn't get an invite. I have no idea. I think I reached out to talk to her years ago, probably 2 years ago, and she never responded. So too bad, I guess. FS says, $5 my favorite right-wing extremist, Rittenhouse defender, Catholic attorney. Note this is sarcasm for idiots. I'll pray my rosary for you tonight. Hey, thanks, FS. Very much appreciated. And legitimately, if you're not joking about prayers, I do appreciate them. Drunk Shovel says, has anyone looked in on Binger? Bloody Blah says, nothing to say except, ooh, more booze. Rico says, Rittenhouse Rye Challenge, 4 shots in 0.73 seconds. Oh, God. Do you know how fast that? Oh, my body hurts thinking about that. Not applicable says, don't apologize for it. Let dummies complain. Drunk Shovel says, Rittenhouse Rye dropping mofos like Kyle. William Barnes. Who's joking about prayers? Or Catholics. I'm if you don't know, I was raised Catholic, and yeah, I got confirmed Catholic. William Barnes says, everyone should send a bottle of Rittenhouse to the members of the prosecution with a note, take a few shots and make the world a better place. Whoo! Stargate 404 says, saw the old Dr. Mike Legal Eagle crossover. Legal Eagle was losing his mind because a fictional attorney told his client to dress modestly and wear her wedding ring. Corrections 101 says, I skipped all law school classes today for this. Darth Cavalier says, I demand a safe space before I'm triggered by your stream. Lol, lol. Othamer says, does anyone... God damn it. I got to get back to where that was. Sorry. YouTube just jumped it down. Othamer says, does anyone have a link to the drone footage that came in Friday? Apparently it was aired on Tucker Carlson a long time ago. Also, how can they get that in halfway through the trial and are actively enhancing right now? On stipulation, Angry Baneling Peacock is laughing along with all of us. AJ Cook says, well, I'm generally awake and degenerate at 12 a.m. If you ever want to have that 1-6 combo, check your email. Damn good work on the stream this week. Hey, thanks, AJ. Angry Baneling says, so we're approaching the 48-hour stream, eh? No. Kate says, when is the Viking funeral for Chair Coon? I don't know. Unfortunately, been using it for when Drexel's over for him to have a seat. Stargate 404 says, I doubt Legal Eagle's litigation skills. He said how your witness appears is maybe only on fringes relevant to a jury. Call it misogynistic and say, this is so not PC. I can't believe they aired this. Yeah, how your witness looks really matters. Really, really matters 100%. Who cares if it's sexist? Nero FL89. Well, I'm not still going. I started back up at 11. Stargate 404 says, have you heard the Kenosha Kid Gunslinger ballad AR on a Sling? It's a beautiful ballad on YouTube, though the algorithm tries to suppress it. Kobe Alloway, welcome to new lawyer status. No, I have not heard that song, by the way. Patrick Radcliffe says, judge was pretty pissed the way he was gesturing with counsel's sidebar after adjournment, giving good odds on dismissal of charges. I mean, one of the problems is Binger is sitting there nodding while his witness is on cross-examination. That was a problem caught on camera. Camera Shy says, you need to check out Memology 101's video of your clip. Freaking hilarious. Brian Green says, new to your channel, found through Viva Fry. Is that a salamander in the background? Some army painter? Yes. Yes, it is. Jeffrey, and these, Brian Green, these are all, I believe, all of the special edition Black Library books that have been maybe ever printed, other than ones that were convention specific, which I haven't been able to get. Jeffrey McCorbin says, is that painting the cat from the I'm Not a Cat thing? Yes, it is. It is. Hunter Thompson says, thanks for the streams, Nick. They've been great. How much longer does this trial go for? As long as it takes. They're predicting being wrapped up by Friday, but we'll see. Gunblade Knight says, it's Irish, so you got to slur the words a bit. Joshua Davis says, just watched Gage's testimony today. His denial of the facts with pictures reminded me of Austin Powers denying his penis pump. Stargate 404 says, imagining the post-trial interview. Rittenhouse, how did you feel knowing you got away killing 2 people? I wouldn't know. I've only killed communists. I Hate Yankee says, Mark Richards, Mr. Binger, I'd like to thank you for doing my job for me. Brian K says, if Kyle had done that same in the Wild West at the turn of the century, he'd be a folk legend. Instead, the media tried to label him an active shooter. Home B says, I'll give money towards the cat picture. Police pointed out, go home. You're not helping, said the first militia. Maddie Ice says, I audibly laughed at work watching Gage's face trying to keep from contorting after he realized he said something stupid. Bad Vibe says, Kyle didn't need Hamburger Helper to make a bunch of sloppy joes. Just saying. JK Wynn says, following case from the beginning, been telling people the facts from get-go. Some open to facts, yet some people are just NPCs, even with a video and testimony. Yep, and they're all going to be very surprised when he is not guilty. Birdbath Batch says, asked earlier, but have been offline. With video being so integral to this case, is there a legal reason none of it was stabilized for clear presentation? Again, you don't want to do edits if you don't have to, because it opens it to a challenge. It's not really a fair challenge, but the jury might not know that. Derek Nall says, Tim Poole said he wants you on Timcast. Cool. Carson Depp says, Canada Dry's ginger ale for wusses. Might as well be drinking 7-Up or Sprite. Real men drink Verner's, the real ginger ale. The Geth says, was Gage actually a felon in possession of a firearm that night? I read that he had a felony burglary, but it got it expunged. They have not clarified that. But he was illegally concealed carrying that night. Ryan Holiday says, you get look like Joey Bosa's malnourished twin, chat. What? A long story short says, Royce and Mersh from ROTC said hello. Oh, hey, I met those guys. They were nice. Had a nice dinner with Mersh and Royce. Well, we were on a show together, a live stage show. It was fun. Blotty Blah says, why does Legal Eagle make all his videos like he is strung out on coke? Evil Bastard says, too much false emperor on that bookshelf of yours. I know of a great library in Nurgle's Garden you should come check out sometime. Matt Field says, you're actually number 9 in recent live streams. Not too shabby for a grifter. Lion of the Morning says, the dude was certainly coached to speak to the jury. There's nothing natural about that behavior. Phoenix Lord Asterman says, I remember these streams getting into the hundreds live, so it's surreal to see you hit 25,000. Congrats, man. Good call. Changing the drinking rules may have saved your life. I couldn't even keep up with the modified drinking rules today. Malik Foxon says, grats, dude. Night streams usually 2,000 to 2,500 strong. Think you about doubled your nighttime viewership. Hoping you have the same numbers after Rittenhouse. We'll see. If people enjoy the content, then they can hang around. Tara Rayner says, Court TV correspondent in Kenosha for the trial said when Gage admitted to pointing his gun at Kyle and advancing on him, the jury put pen to paper and were on the edge of their seats the entire cross. Canadians are awesome, and I made you say it. Oh, dang it. I got chumped into it. Wow. Yeah. That is, it was obviously a windfall moment for Kyle. Gunner's Game says, my cop husband was fired for reporting reposting a news article about Kyle Rittenhouse on his private Facebook. How can we find a lawyer in Washington? This is Seattle, so many lawyers afraid to represent him. Again, Gunner's Games. I mentioned this earlier, but I hope you hear it then or hear it now. Try the Randazza Law Group. They're based out of Nevada, but they do First Amendment practice all over the country. If that doesn't work, I would try Harmeet Dillon Law Group. Harmeet and one of her other attorneys is Ron Coleman. Very, very great at taking on big entities and protecting freedom. Mr. Moranan says, Gage is not a paramedic as he claims to become one. You need schooling and training in EMT 1 to 4. Gage is an EMT 1, which is advanced first aid. Kara Pappas says, wearing a shirt like that makes me think you should play the game Harvester on stream, Nick. You always were a kidder. Mr. Liveline Solution says he doesn't actually have kids. He just had to empty his bladder again. Yes. Garnet Nard says, this is my first Recato Law live stream. I'm donating because you're friends with Null. Hey, thank you, Garnet Nard. Thought Provoking says, what I heard you say was go to sleep or I'll let Rosenbaum babysit. No. Siumara says, in regards to the Twitter salt about lawyers from non-lawyers, leftists only seem to be capable of dishonesty or idiocy. Eric the Red says, Ricky Berwick versus Gage in an arm wrestling contest. Who you got? Ricky, 100% of the time. Trooper FN2525 says, do these full panel attorney shows more? It was enjoyable to have LawTube all together. Call it Monday Night Bites, but you're on to something big. I have been planning to do a panel show anyway. So, that like a weekly one. So I think that may be in the near future here. But for now, this is for this trial. Stargate 404 says, breaking, Raid has offered Kyle a job. Press release, his firsthand experience dealing with roaches in the field will be invaluable to our R&D team. SK Tahoe NV, thanks for the donation. Cryptos Chaos says, Nick, do you think Kyle gets his AR back? Yeah, if he's acquitted. Yes. Andrew War Snowboard says, Gage tricepted and became bicepted. F word around and find out. 1-800-GET-WRECKED. Spooky Ghost says, prosecution needs conslutes that won't disappoint. SK Tao NV says, after the trial, you need to put up the big boy head down picture behind you. Oh, yes, that would be funny. Brian, Big McLarge Huge says, here's 10 for your troubles. Absolutely love your channel, man. Hey, thanks, bud. Home B says $5 for the kitty picture for college students of the future. Thanks. Kyle R says, I guess the prosecutors needed a medic today. Sonny Gonzalez, welcome to Super Lawyer Status. Home B says, if no one wanted Kyle Rittenhouse there, police, business owners, why was he there? Yeah, they all could have asked him to leave. They didn't really do that. Ryan Holiday says, watched all week, love it, look it up. But you look like Joey Bosa's mini-me. He's NFL player for the Chargers. Yeah. Oh, okay. I also get what's his name? The fucking Irish Conor McGregor's trainer. Something Kavanaugh. John Kavanaugh. I get that one a lot. Bearded Wonder says Wisconsin doesn't require notification of firearms crossing state lines unless it's an NFA item like a suppressor, automatic, or something like that. No, but he might have violated a federal law by being a minor taking a rifle across state lines. J.K. Wynn says, did Rosenbaum receive a hole for every hole? Would be something interesting. Karma. Silverfish 606 says, congrats on 190,000 subs, Ricada. Maybe a 24-hour stream if you get 200,000 subs. May I ask you to explain the whole Gavin Newsom missing situation? Gracias. I have no idea about Gavin. I haven't been following. Blake Smith says, why is the new HD FBI video feed not allowed to be used in court if it's the same information but with better clarity? Turns out they don't actually have the HD FBI video. I was mistaken on this new drone footage. Let's see. Patriot X says the gun was legal to possess, but it was not transferred legally, so he won't get it back. I mean, as far as I can tell, they were holding it in a trust. They might just forfeit it and buy him a new gun. But we'll see. Home B says, Kyle Rittenhouse screams medical attention, then shoots a person and still has to call 911 while true heroes do the work. Still Sleeping says, man, you always run away from gunshots. Why these dummies run towards the gunshots is beyond me. You walk in the direction to look for trouble. Josh Rose says, press F in chat for the prosecution. Zappy TV says, can the defense call Miss Cleo to talk to the dead? Huber and Rosenbaum could also provide great testimony for Kyle's defense. Brett Otteson says, the contrast between what it took for the cop to be concerned about Kyle and Kyle being attacked by 4 people should have been hammered on. Blake Smith says, thoughts on Tim Pool shout out? Always glad to be shouted out. If he wants to invite me on the show, I will most likely accept, as long as I can actually, that his scheduling works with mine. Then yeah. Distorted 121 says, welcome to lawyer status. Anthony Simon says 4K watching, 190,000 subs. Awesome. Well deserved. And nobody gets more likes to views ratio that I've ever seen. Tim said he would love to have you on. Do it. Steve Allen says, just subscribe today. Love the channel and coverage of Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, I'm here to disappoint you. No, I'm just kidding. Wanting to start being a student of the law myself, and I wonder if you can advise what field to start with. Steve Allen, send me an email or a Twitter DM or something for that question. It depends on where you are. Flood X4 says, can the defense actually help at this point, or can they only make things worse? No, they can still help. Josh Rose says, sidebar, thoughts on FBI raiding Project Veritas for Ashley Biden's diary? That looked like a Fed op to me. Sell them a forgery, see if they'll publish it, but then they don't publish it because they can't authenticate it, and then raid them. Silverfish 606 says, you're going to stream Elden Ring when it comes out? I think so. It looks fun. It looks good. G-Man says, someone coach Gage to look at the jury, not think he could possibly find a way to F that up too. Home B says, the facts, Kyle Rittenhouse should have stayed in his house. What persuaded him to Kenosha? Home B, the facts are, it doesn't matter. He should have stayed at his house. What persuaded him to Kenosha is he worked there. His friend worked there. He stayed there with his friend all the time. But he should have stayed home. I agree with you. But he didn't stay home. So let's deal with the facts that we have. Does him not staying home mean he has to die? If no, then he has a right to self-defense. Jiffy the Magic Elf says, is it wrong that I watch mostly because I think you're hot? Also, I might be drinking too. No, that's just fine. That's fine, Jiffy. Home B says, the police, the first militia that this movement portrayed, told people like Kyle to stay home. That's the truth. Well, they told all the rioters to stay home too, and they didn't. That's the truth. So, again, equal footing. Equal footing of all these people, and none of this is relevant to a self-defense claim. Kenny 1B says, what's the chance of the DOJ moving for malicious prosecution charging Grosskreutz on federal crimes? 0. Cave Canum says, the nose is beautiful. A red Ferrari of justice. Bad Dragonite says, Nick Recchietta. Nick Recchietta? Oh, yeah, no. It's Nick Recchietta. Home B says, is it legal for a state to call a curfew? First of all, it wasn't a state that called a curfew. It was a city. And typically they can be if they can survive constitutional scrutiny. Often they're not challenged in time to do so. Depends on how long the curfews last. But it doesn't matter. It's not relevant to a self-defense claim. Birdbath Bash says, I mean, I'll take your money all night. I'll take your money all night on these questions. Birdbath Bash says, if Binger joined chat next, would it be awkward? Yes. Christopher Embry says, supposedly the roommate was in the courtroom and was subpoenaed as he tried to leave. Home B says, guaranteed Kyle is writing a remorse letter. I don't know if you guarantee that. I don't know how you guarantee that. Das Pooch says, just call him gross nuts. It's simpler and easier to say. It's funnier, and he deserves all the mockery we can throw at him. Malcolm Campbell says, the elected individual responsible for this travesty is Kenosha County DA Mike Gravely, not Little Binger. Kyle isn't the DA's first victim. Home B says, lawyers coach. Again, up to a point, they do. Silverfish, which I said on the live stream several times. Silverfish 606 says, I bet Binger is into Yowie. Is that defamation? No, not defamation. Jiffy the Magical Elf says, not looking to get read, just want to support a content creator. Well, you got read anyway, because I read all the chats. Christopher Embry says, also saw that local news in Kenosha was trying to change the story, framing from the trial, said nothing about Gage having a gun. Lane 20 says, a clip of your show of Grosskreutz admission made it to Telegram. Charles M says, when do we get Drax back so the new viewers can learn about Germany? Oh, yeah, I read that one. Aldrasai says, do you think Binger actually just got himself into a bad case here? Too much political pressure for a case he should have dismissed? Career impact? He didn't have to take the prosecution on this case. Someone else could have. He didn't choose to prosecute it, but he also didn't have to take it. He could have said, nah, have someone else do the case. Theoretically. Still Sleeping says, how many communist revolutionary events have you spoken at? A few. And is this revolution going well for you? No. And Manat says, so this just went over some of the broad strokes of the stream with my friends. Holy cow, this trial is dunner than Trump steaks. Lamau. Home B says, when does the cat picture recognize its value? What do you mean by that? That I don't know. Like, when does it get hung on the wall? I'm not sure. Cicero says, you said it would be better if GK didn't survive because he was, well, I said that, and then his testimony ended up being amazingly devastating for the state. But if Kyle blew his face off, couldn't that hurt the defense? Yeah. Okay. So hindsight is 2020. Typically, I think you don't want to leave a person alive in a self-defense claim because then they get to, get up there and be all hurt and testify about how hurt they are. But this testimony was a disaster. So, throw the rules out the window. RD Conrad says, hard to see in the video. Kyle might have had a stovepipe, brass not fully ejected from already fired round. Takes less than a second to clear it. The reason it's hard to see from the video is there's no evidence that it happened other than Gage saying it just now today to try and cover up for the fact that he ran up on him and raised his hands up and then tried to shoot him. I mean, I'm pretty sure the jury in that jury room saw the exact same thing I'm just describing. No one has seen him. Think about this. They've seen video of everything, but they've never seen him rack that slide, and they have never seen him or rack the charging rod, and they have never seen him raise his gun at the Zeminskis. That was testified to today. They're in damage control mode, and the jury probably sees that because they have seen everything else on video, everything testified to. It's all on video, and they've seen tons of video already, but not those two things that some people said right now that just where, oh, it's there. If you could just pinch and zoom, then you'd see it. Just pinch and zoom, pinch and zoom. What's up? Yes, that's correct. I'm the Black Mage says he's been shot. He's been shot. His bicep is gone. He needs some milk. Next, he says, Binger can be my defense lawyer. Man warps reality. Jared says, sent you the enhanced version of the new footage is seen today in the trial and Twitter DMs. Thread has multiple. Thank you, Jared. Silverfish 606 says, your new growth means you'll beat the VTubers one day. 200 Watt Studio says, did you see Megyn Kelly retweeted Viva? Send Megan the link tomorrow, Nick. Northwoods Peachtree says, our Wisconsin CCW shows the date it expires on our cards we have to carry. Tara Rayner says, Binger, nothing further. Gage, Sharafisi, hold my beer. Fat Boy sees his future career prospects in the same condition as Gage's bicep. Angry Bellsprout says, when will the raking of the leaves commence? Soon. Pat Royson says, fun fact, Kenosha Mayor John Antaramian is uncle to Detective Benjamin Antaramian and Kenosha City Judge Michael Easton. Mayor's cousin is City Attorney Ed Antaramian. Uncivil brought up a good point. Kenosha is a very small town. This is probably not that uncommon. Brian London says, thank you from Israel. Hey, thank you, Brian. My first ever super chat. Whoa. Probably shouldn't use this. I'm suing Google and Facebook for $300 billion case in court in Australia. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. But thank you for your first ever super chat. Very much appreciated. Bolaniulin says, found the channel today. Looks like you are blowing up. Front page of Reddit. Is Kyle in the clear for gun charges since he's being charged as an adult? He's being tried as an adult, not charged. He's charged as a minor in possession, but he's being tried as an adult. So he's not in juvenile court. It's a weird sort of thing, but no, he's being tried as an adult on all this stuff. And no, he is not going to be cleared of the gun charge on that. He'll be cleared of the gun charges because they don't apply to 17-year-olds carrying a rifle. If he's cleared of the gun charges, we'll see. Kate says, love your show. How has the internet not found Dropkick Man? We need some web sleuths on it. How is the prosecution not found Dropkick Man? This is a man who assaulted someone in the street. They didn't even interview him. Why'd you kick him in the face? Bradley Hassey says, why did the detective seem like he wouldn't answer plainly? Because he wouldn't. Again, they're on damage control and they know it. Home B says, did Kyle think he was entering a civil war scenario or something? Like the police mean nothing in America? Home B, you do know that the police actually weren't where Kyle was when he got into the altercation, right? Like, you understand the police blocked off part of the city and said they weren't going in there. And that's where everybody moved that night. I hope. Maybe you don't. Viden the Cold One says, do you think Gage took an oath to do no harm? Pat Royson says, Ron Toye and anime will be more popular as a result of Kyle Rittenhouse. Maybe more people will start wearing tight pants like Vic. Bad Dragonite says, how's Law Twitter handling all of this? They may need a wellness check. I've not looked. I don't look. Like, I don't go find their stuff. I don't follow any of them. I don't care what they say. I mostly ignore them until they tag me, and then I make fun of them, and then they get mad. HP says, I'm poor. You're important to us. If you're poor, please don't send me money. I appreciate you very, very much. But please take care of yourself before you send me anything. Thank you. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. Ann N says, will the defense try and make a statement by only taking 1 or 2 days? We'll see some sort of long drawn out process due to cross-exam. I think they'll try and keep it quick. I really do. Home B says, is it safe to say Kyle Rittenhouse was a part of a movement he did not know he was in? You can't be part of a movement you don't know you're in. So no, it's not safe to say. These are weird questions, buddy. Hyperstrike says, saw the 11/8 stream, never saw the prosecution bucking for an acquittal quite so hard as this. Phoenix Lord Asserman says, did you see Gunt seething at you on Twitter? No, he blocked me. He might have unblocked me. Hilariously pathetic. No, I haven't seen it. Charles M says, at least we know Australia is real, right? Why is he mad? Is he mad at my tweet that I made the other day? Not applicable. Oh, I bet that's it. Someone tweeted about some fart heard around the world, and it was someone who was way outside of our sphere. And I just said, hey, you've met Ethan Ralph? Like, that was the whole tweet. I think I didn't retweet it. I don't think. I think it was just a subtweet. What's he mad about? Well, whatever. I don't really care. I never went on any Ralph chose his path. How's that? That's That's what I'll say about Ralph. Ralph chose this path. I didn't choose it. Let's see. We've got Charles M says, at least we know Australia is real, right? Not applicable says, guess Gage hadn't learned to do his hair with one hand yet. Home B says, Kyle's problem. If the police told you to stay home, why were you there? Do you always listen to everything government tells you to do? You know, not every order of government is lawful. And again, they told everybody not to be there. So everybody should equally not be there, but they weren't enforcing it. So that's their problem. Home B says, I watched the trial, but this channel has a kitty picture that begs attention. Dapper Wolf says, Gage and Alec Baldwin should take gun safety lessons from Kyle. Seth Kaiser says, do you think if Kyle is found not guilty, it could open up any kind of defamation case for him? It can. I don't know how good it will be. It's going to be really tough. Really tough. 65 CJ5 says, I bet the hospital bag contained antipsychotic medication. Delia Meyer says, appreciate your coverage watching in Alaska. Most anticipated witness from the defense. Comments on Binger's Star Wars pins. I mean, the most anticipated witness for the defense for me is John Black, the expert, although it's probably going to be really boring. The firebrand witness would be Zeminski. I don't think Zeminski is going to be called up, but that would be the real one right there. Comments on Binger's Star Wars pins. I think they're lame. Biden the Cold One says, by the way, Baca seemed happy for your 25,000 viewers. Oh, thanks. Aisha Frazier says, so my recommendation had a remix of Alex Jones singing, I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. Too funny. I'm deceased. Yeah, we played that on Flash's show. Home B says, Kitty. Aisha Frazier says, took me forever to send the last chat. Not sure if YouTube is censoring Alex Jones or the word leftist. Either way, I had to do a million tries to send. Yes, is the answer. Yeah, after I am done with the Rittenhouse case and get back to streaming on Twitch, sometimes I'll have to raid Baca and say hi. It's been a long time. Ian Mack says, defense send Gage to get yeeted to spike his civil claim. Like, man, we have lost this anyway. Might as well save the country some money or county some money. I don't think so. Ray Blaine says, how are you still going? You're an animal. See you tomorrow. Greatest feed of this trial ever. Hey, thank you. Still going because, well, you guys are here and I have a promise to keep on Super Chats. Bad Dragonite says a bunch of numbers says, oh, wait, I read that one. Home B says, how's this for a slap in the face of Kyle Rittenhouse? See the drone footage? Yep. Wolfgang Deo says, Secretary Buttigieg, Biden admin to use infrastructure bill to address racist highway design. Oh, God. There is actually a racist highway. It was the 94, the Highway 94 through St. Paul, Minnesota was specifically directed through the black neighborhood in St. Paul. Like they had other routes that they could have built the highway, and they chose to build it and sever that neighborhood in half. It was it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting story on that one. That one's actual racist highway design. You can't fix it now. I mean, this is like 50 years ago or whatever. And it's, that's all the outcome is already done. But so I don't know what he's talking about, but that is an actual racist highway design that I heard about. And the racism is directly in their argument for it. Home B says, Kyle Rittenhouse, the police did not need you. You made things more difficult. One for the road says, I caught a felony assault a couple weeks back because my niece is crazy and her ex is a POS. Got a felony dismissal review December 2nd. Good luck, buddy. Good luck. Home B says, oh, look, I slapped this channel with money. Avoid all of it. Thomas Coker says, Court TV should be streaming Ricada Law, streaming the trial. True. Kyle B says, testimony. Did Kyle Rittenhouse call 911 when the McGinnis shouted for it? I don't know. Still not relevant to his self-defense claim. Tago Jones says, yo, Nick, you could get someone like Cecil to join your stream to take your place for every 1,000 like shot. No. Nick Saffron, welcome to Paralegal. Thank you for joining the channel. Snuggle Struggle says, where did it go? Here we go. He says, in my opinion, Grosskreitz's Bud will go MIA and no warrant will find him until after the trial is over. He fled so that he wouldn't be called then and there. Darth Cavalier says, what do you call a dozen lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start, but not good enough. Dave says, Binger looks like a perfect amalgamation of Justin Hammer from Iron Man and Littlefinger. Ralph Mack says, government just said have to be vaxxed by December 4th, non-essential gatherings. Wow. The federal government? Oh, Australia. Shit. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Tara Rayner says, Nick, yes, it's a show. Vinny something, former prosecutor. NCG Goggles says the Denver Allen court case was parodied by Rick and Morty at SDCC. Everything said was actual court dialogue, word for word. Yes, that's the one. Josh, the lawyer, and I did, and Keon, I think, did a read of that. Maybe it was, I don't know. Was it Josh the lawyer? It might have been Birch. Me, Josh, and Birch, I think. Dave said, if Binger is Littlefinger, his partner is the Mountain. Townseer says, Gage is one shank cut short of the entire bull. He's lucky the kid didn't want briskets. Lose Tooth says, thanks for the streams. Respect the grift. Go get some blue cheese on me. Hey, thank you. Dwayne Oldson says, do you think Barnes was correct on their stream today and it ends hung or with a split verdict due to poor jury selection? I have no idea on the jury selection. Not my specialty. I didn't really, I don't have a lot of info on what jury they selected. So I'm not going to comment on that. But I think Kyle walks either way. That's what I think happens. Cyril Foxy says, Twitch thought sub stream when? I got to get to 20,000 followers on Twitch for that. Jiffy the Magic Elf says, please don't read my chat. Just accept my support. I don't read these in advance. Wolfgang Deo says, please read my chat. Just don't accept my support. Batgoat says, you're a crazy person. Get some sleep. Have some chicken soup. I'm going to go have ramen right after this. Jeremy Anthony says, Law Avengers are rad. Nick, Thanos, Viva, Tony Stark. Leroy Jenkins. Leroy says, what are the odds of the jury returns guilty because they're afraid of riots or being doxxed? I feel like that happened with Chauvin. There are no riots outside of the Kenosha courthouse. So being doxxed, maybe, but the pressure is entirely different. Entirely different in this case. Tim says, what's the over-under on the defense team collecting and analyzing the great legal analysis from the previous day to use or paying an intern to do it? I don't think so. I don't think that's something that they really just don't have time for, and they've already got a plan. So I don't think there's any reason to do that. Austin Boucher says, if Kyle had a stovepipe, they should have asked if any of the casings had metal deformity. Thoughts on people defending this with citizen's arrest? Citizen's arrest who? Like Gage making a citizen's arrest? Is that what we're talking about? I don't think that'll go very well. Let's see. Reg Gillo says, you do remember from law school the defense objection rule in criminal trials. For each witness, you shouldn't need more than one hand to count objections if you can avoid it, or you risk the jury. First of all, no, I never heard that rule in criminal trials. So that wasn't taught in my law school. Second of all, I'm not saying that they should object to literally everything, but they were not objecting very much to much of anything on some of these things. And I think they missed some really big objections that they should have hit. So there you go. Yeah, you do risk the jury if you're objecting to everything constantly. But there were times where Binger was just going for like an hour straight, and they could have broken him up. And they know that his objections for Aslan. Spencer Mosher says, thoughts on Fifth Circuit case 21-60845 over the unconstitutional OSHA mandate. Do you think it will get a permanent injunction? I don't, but I hope it does. I'm just pessimistic on it. All right. Almost done. Dread Clown says, a long con, the DA looks at the 10 million civil lawsuit on his desk by Gage, but he had a plan. He needed to charge Kyle Rittenhouse and talk someone into being a star witness. Bish's Bicep found out says, can you cancel your Twitch contract or ask if you can have 2 accounts? I do not think we fully appreciate the amount of exposure that multi-streaming the trial to Twitch would have. Thousands of dollars worth of an audience reach and reaching new minds. No, I can't do it before the trial's over. Certainly not. That one guy says Rep Paul Gozer tweeted an edit of Attack on Titan where his face was edited over Aaron and Joe Biden is a giant Titan at the end of the intro. Twit-tards losing their freaking minds saying he broke the law. Twitter even marked it as hate speech for what? He says there's another good legal reform. Require the state to try their own witnesses for perjury. No more lying cops. But how do you get them to bring the charges? How do you force them to? No more lying cops in the stand or people contradicting themselves just because the prosecutor called them to the stand. It's another total mockery of justice. And then it says, Nick's congrats on the 27,000 viewers. New blood waiting to be grifted by Big Daddy Rackets. Here's a question. If you shot and killed on the border of 2 states and you're on one side and the victim was on the other, which side would/could prosecute you? The feds. And then Ragelo says they only got that bomb because they let prosecution hang themselves. Yeah, they did. But in other places, again, I didn't know that bomb was coming when I called for the objections. So hindsight's 2020. No, that's not actually true. That's not actually true. They got that bomb on cross. And I don't think they would have objected to the foundational questions where they got to that question on cross either. But that being said, guys, that's the show. It's time for me to go to bed. So thank you for hanging out with me today and tonight and today. And I'll see you in the morning, 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm going to be setting up the stream right now. Hope y'all have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Your Honor, I'm pretty sure we have a mistrial here, sir.
I'm gonna mistrial my foot up your ass. You don't shut up.